because things are getting serious in the competition. We ask for protection, and we ask for a level of performance that will be outstanding and enjoyable. We thank you so much for the opportunity of sharing all of this in this incredible community. And I do pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Taylor will lead us through her rendition of the Star Spangled Banner. Chrissy?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, race fans, and welcome to round 4 of the 2026 IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series. It's the battle on the Colorado here in Marble Falls, Texas, and we're ready to crown some champions. But first, we got to wrap up qualifying. The third and final qualifying heat and tri-haul in Formula One are coming up in just a moment, and then we're going to set our starting lineup for all for all 4 classes here on the IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series as they look to crown their champions here today on the Colorado River. And the tri-hauls coming up next. There we see the 17 of Neil Marsh. He had a solid run on Saturday's qualifying, looking to do some more damage out there points-wise here in qualifying heat number 3. Try to find the inside of row 1 and get out of that clean water early. Again, reminder, our final qualifying heats in tri-haul and Formula One, both reverse order of finish in points after 2 rounds. So we're going to see the likes of Darren Ware, the man they call Caddy in the 54 boat. He's going to be on the outside of the final row, way back in the pack. Can he storm through the field? The likes of Neil Marsh, Mason Rinker, Cole Waring are going to be charging through the field, or at least trying to here. With this wind picking up a little bit more this morning, that course is going to be extra rough for the tri-hauls here for their third and final qualifying heat. Neil Marsh making his way down in front. There is the man who leads the points. They call him Caddy, the 54 of Darren Ware, having a breakout weekend here in round 4. Can he put a bow on it with a great run here in qualifying heat number 3? He's making his way down the front stretch here right in front of the fans in downtown Marble Falls in this beautiful riverfront park. A fantastic park. It's almost like a natural stadium here on either sides of the Colorado River, really diving down here as we are in hill country of eastern Texas. And it's a beautiful backdrop for some unbelievable high-octane racing here all weekend long on the Colorado. There's the 63 of Aaron Green. He had a solid run in Shreveport, Louisiana at the Red River Rumble Memorial Day weekend just a couple of weeks back. Can he do it again? Struggled a little bit yesterday trying to dial things in here in heat number 3 and get back up near the hunt and try to fight for a podium position. The 88 of Josh Wells in that Heavy Hands Racing Machine. We saw him come out early and then struggled in the later parts of that second qualifying heat. Did he get his everything dialed in for that heavy hands machine? Same with the 33 of John Ottinger. Ottinger in that John Deere green machine trying to do some damage here in qualifying heat number 3, running for Lone Star Sand and Gravel, Lone Star Garden Center, the 33 of John Ottinger. There we see Caddy, the man sitting number 1 in points through 2 qualifying heats, getting locked in, ready to go here for qualifying heat number 3. The rest of the field making their way out onto the water. Hey, there he is. Hey, Caddy, how you doing, man? He's excited. Probably a lot of nervous energy inside the cockpit of that number 54 machine. Can he harness that energy and push it all the way to pole position for the final later on today in that number 54 machine? See, there's the 281 bridge, takes you straight up from San Antonio here to beautiful Marble Falls. Nice little drive. I took that drive myself. Flew into San Antonio Friday morning. Made my way up the 281 here to Marble Falls. A nice, beautiful drive through the hill country coming out of San Antonio. All right, looks like we're getting the final boats on the water here. There's the 33 of Ottinger again, making his way down in front of everybody. And the rest of the field is now making their way out of the creek, is where all the drivers enter the race course. There's the 63 of Aaron Green, and that Rise Fitness sponsored entry. The man out of Ector, Texas. There we go to see the 13 of Gerald Chilton. There's the 42 of Wyatt Zeller, running for Pigpen Barbecue, Pickups Bar and Grill and Tech Line here at the Battle on the Colorado. And you can see how rough it's already getting, and none of these tri-holes have even run yet today. The Colorado is going to throw everything it has at these tri-hole drivers. The question is, who's going to come out on top here in qualifying heat number 3? This is the, you know, as we heard yesterday, this is really the big heat. This is the one that makes it or breaks it here for the finals. Qualifying heats 1 and 2 are very, very important, but it all comes down to qualifying heat 3 as they look to set the grid for their main event later on this afternoon. All right, there's the man leading in points coming into round 4 here. That's the man running for Walker Engineering and Burnshausen Oil out of Rosenberg, Texas. They call him Mullet, the number 69. Cole Waring had a solid day yesterday. Not great by his standards, but a solid day. And he's back with points in hand, fighting again here today, trying to find a way to win his 3rd race in a row. He won in Port Neches. He won at the Red River Rumble in Shreveport. Opened up a nice little lead coming into this weekend. Cole Waring with a 50-point lead over the 37 of Mason Rinker. Can he extend that lead, or can Rinker start to squeeze the 69 of Waring here as we roll through round number 4? All right, let's take a look at that starting lineup here for qualifying heat number 3. Again, reverse order of points. The only man, the only rookie here left in 2026, the 13 of Jared Shelton, finds himself on the inside of row 1. And then the 63 of Aaron Green and that Rise Fitness machine on the outside of row 1. And then Clint Dillard in that KLD Racing, number 56, man out of Rosenberg, Texas, coming on the inside of row 2. And then it's the 88 Josh Wells and that Heavy Hands Racing coming on the outside of row 2.
Tanner Rinker back on the course this afternoon, got his fuel pump fixed. That was the gremlin yesterday.
Okay.
So he's back out there, and look, he's starting up front. So he's a good pick.
Yeah, he's looking
for
to
heat 3.
Absolutely looking to play spoiler here after not amassing too many points yesterday. He knows he's going to have to come out of the rocket off that rolling start and try to find his way to the front of the water as he's side by side with the 42 of Wyatt Zeller. Then we take a look at our points leaders so far. That's the 54 of Darren Ware. He's going to be on the inside of row 7, the lone boat on row 7. And then 17 of Neil Marsh and the 37 of Mason Rinkerton. They're in row 6. Boy, a lot of points stacked up real tight to one another back there in the back of the field here for this reverse order of finish qualifying heat number 3.
Well, you got number 54 who won that first heat yesterday, and Caddy coming through, so he's still on top of the points right now for the weekend.
Yeah, he did. He ran really well moving his way through traffic late in qualifying heat number 2. And I think that's really the trick in these reverse order of finish. If you finish really well in heat 1, the goal is, can I get back to the top 5? I think if you can get back to the top 5, those points from qualifying heat number 1 are going to give you at least a solid cushion, or at least give you the opportunity to get after it here in qualifying heat 3 and try to get yourself on the pole.
That's right. The heat 3 really is the equalizer in this whole thing. And I see Mason Rinker, number 37, broken motor mount. They got that all taken care of. So these tri-hulls, they just take a beating.
They take a beating, but whether it's duct tape, a little glue, resin, it doesn't matter. Whatever they, maybe even a little
Whatever
gum,
it takes.
right,
Whatever
to get that boat out there. They
yeah.
had, I know they had the boat on the hoist down at the loading dock for well over an hour yesterday, making sure that they made all the proper repairs, got that motor off, got everything remounted. I stopped by this morning. The thing looked about as new as a tri-hull can.
Tri-hulls are, you know, a regular boat is worth 50%. As soon as you pull it off the lot, a tri-hull after one race is probably 10%.
Yes, absolutely. Not to mention all the additional money you put in patching all the holes and trying to keep these things glued together as they bump around at 60+ miles an hour. All right, well, it looks like they got their hot laps in. We're going to get everybody circled together, get them lined up in their 2x2 formation, and head them back down the south side of the course, down to the east end, and then we're going to roll them around for our 2x2 rolling start here. Boy, Tim, wind picks up today.
Wow.
More of that bathtub effect here, especially on the north side of the course with this retaining wall. It is going to be rough for all classes, but especially kicking things off here, opening it up with tri-hull heat number 3.
It really will, and when you have conditions like this, that the wind kicks up, makes it harder to drive, you really see the difference between a veteran and a younger driver, whether he's a rookie or just not as much experience. But guess what? There's only one way to get that experience, and that's to go out and do it.
Yeah, that's all you can do. A big thing here, I'd imagine we're going to see a lot of extra weight in the nose of the boats in all 4 classes, just trying to keep those noses close to the water. Like you said, it's hard to go forward when your propeller's out of the water going up. So hopefully these guys can keep things flat as possible. And the key phrase there is as possible here, as the Colorado's going to throw everything at these 13 drivers to see who's going to come out on top.
Look how rough it is right now, and they haven't even they've had one test lap. So fans, go get something to drink at the food trucks, something to eat, and get your seat, because you're in for some entertainment on this one.
Absolutely, you are. The question is the 13 of Gerald Shelton. He's been in this position before, and he's done everything he possibly could with it at the Red River Rumble, getting his first heat win. Now, he was out in front yesterday when the wind first picked up. They really hadn't had any, they hadn't really understood what the wind was going to do by the time they got to heat number 2. It picked up right before they started, and everybody had to kind of adjust course, and that's where, like you had mentioned, you see that rookie, the 13 of Gerald Shelton, kind of get thrown off his game when the wind picked up right before the start of the race. He got shuffled back a little bit. Let's see if he can hang on and try to stay out front here in heat number 3 coming from pole.
Well, the conditions constantly change, so what you're going to see is you're going to see a big hole in turn 1, and then before you know it, that's going to make that its way down the course, and now that hole's going to be in turn 4, 3 or 4 laps later.
Yeah, and they're going to churn up the water, and they're going to slam into each other. They're going to go 4 or 5 wide in the corner. Expect anything when you're watching the tri-hulls here on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series. All right, Jet Ski Jared and the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series rescue team out leading the pack down, heading west, back upriver here on the Colorado as they make their way down onto the race course. He's going to peel off, and then we're going to look for the orange flag. We switched to an orange flag due to the green foliage behind the drivers. Now, Chief Referee Doug Ray's got that orange flag up. Once he drops it, they're going to go live. Holding their lanes. Who's going to hit that gas? And they go. Who's going to get the run to the first turn? Boy, it looks like a nice run there by the 63 of Aaron Green. But the 13 of Jared Shelton, can he get it around that tight pin? It is so hard. Sometimes when you don't get clear of the outside boat in your row, man, you really get jammed down to that pin, Tim, on the first opening corner.
You sure do. You got the tri-hull traffic jam going on right now out there. And you just saw that number 17, Neil, and number 37, Mason, came together.
And it looks like Marsh might have made it out ahead. No, it looks like Mason Rinker did, but look at him go 3-4 wide. But boy, it's the 13 of Gerald Shelton. He does. No, that's the 63 of Aaron Green.
Aaron Green, he won his first heat race, so He has got a little confidence going. He likes starting up front, and he's doing a good job right now.
Absolutely. Now we see the flash. There's the 56 of Dillard right behind him. No surprise, there he is, the 10 of Tanner Rinker up there fighting with the 69 of Cole Waring as they battle for fourth here early on in qualifying heat number 3. Did not take long for the likes of Waring and Rinker to get up near the front. Now here comes the 56 of Dillard. He's looking to get by the 13 of Shelton. He tags Shelton coming down into turn 2, pushes him out of the way. That clears room for the 10 of Mason to jump in front of the 69 of Waring. Ooh, we got a big...
Mason really has it flying. Sorry, Tanner, number 10.
He is pushing it to the limit. That's what you get when you're the number 10, right? He runs a tri-hole like Ricky Bobby runs a race car. If you ain't first, you might as well be last, because he's out there giving it to the limit, trying to hang it, fly it wide open. But right next to him, it's the 69 of Cole Waring, and they're going after it down the back straight. And now Waring really looks like he's got some top-end speed as they go down into turn number 2, down on the east end of the course. Waring now back in front. Let's see if Rinker can make the move.
Tanner ducks underneath. See how it's coming up the front side, but Tanner's driving it because he's got something to prove since he's missed a couple of the heat races.
Yeah, he needs those points badly.
He needs them bad. And look at old number 17 sneaking his way up there.
All right, now we got 4 boats fighting for the final spot on the podium, and they are all over each other. Looks like Marsh gets hammered down the inside. Well, look out there, Clint Dillard gets it a little wild.
He's right in the mix, though.
But boy, how about Cole Waring? It seems like he's just got an extra gear coming out of the corners, and really he can get that thing to top speed so much quicker that it's just causing havoc. You see, he got by the 10 of Tanner Rinker easily. He's now dead set on the 63 of Aaron Green, trying to hunt down our leader here with 4 laps to go in this third and final qualifying heat and tri-hole.
Well, look at the difference in the boat attitudes coming into the wind. Cole's in the number 69 has got it laid over flat. You're seeing number 10 Tanner and even Neil really catching some air coming into the wind.
Yeah, you're really seeing the whole bottom of that boat where it's hard to even see halfway underneath the bottom of the 69 of Waring. I think a smart move by him, you know, being able to leverage a little bit of extra weight forward here on these rough days, looking like it's paying off for the number 69. Question is, can he catch the 63 of Aaron Green?
Well, he's pulling on him right now, so I would say you got 2 more laps, and then we're going to have a battle for the lead.
And it might come right down to the wire as Waring slides it beautifully through turn number 1 on the right, on the west end of the course. Now heads back down, and it's so much rougher coming up, back up the river. You're really able to see how rough the water is here on the shores of the Colorado.
I'm surprised Mason Rinker isn't making more headway than he is.
Yeah, well, he also probably wants to make sure that he gets those repairs, make it through the third qualifying heat and get into the final. This would be a disaster if he was unable to start the final, especially for those series point standings. And there's a white flag goes out as we see the entire propeller and drive shaft on the back of that OMC of 63 Aaron Green completely come out of the water. But like you said, Tim, he's right there with 1 lap to go. Can the 69 of Waring catch our leader, the 63 of Aaron Green?
69 ducks inside. Look, he's got a run on him going down the back straightaway.
And we'll stay with him. This is where that pressure
is. This is for the win.
Can Green make a good turn?
Oh, no. Takes a hard hit.
Oh, but Waring follows him. They must have not had a whole lot of room to the inside there.
He couldn't get on the inside.
All right, as they make their way out of turn 2, ladies and gentlemen, your winner of qualifying heat number 3, sending it airborne across the start-finish line, number 63, Mr. Aaron Green.
Wow, what a finish.
The 69 of Cole Waring comes in second, and I think they're by a nose. The 10 of Tanner Rinker just barely nipped the 17 of Neil Marsh for the 3rd spot on the podium. That's some really good points after barely being able to finish any qualifying heats yesterday in that number 10 boat.
Man, number 10, he needs that. Tanner has been snake bit all year. He needs a little momentum, you know? And what a better time to have it, 3rd heat right before the final.
Exactly. At least you know then, hey, I'm dialed. I'm ready. I got a good setup going. Now I've just got to, he just needs a little bit more time to work through the traffic. As we know, in all of our main events in all 4 classes, that you're looking at 2 to 2.5 times the length, sometimes 3 times the length of a qualifying heat. And so it makes it a much more interesting story, especially those last 5-10 minutes or 5-10 laps of the finals coming up later on today.
It's going to be wild final.
It's
all of a sudden, just when we get the heat race done in Tri-Hall, now that's right when it's going to start getting rough, halfway through the final.
Absolutely. Well, take a look at a recap here from qualifying heat number 3. Gerald Shelton started on the pole.
Good start.
Aaron Green got him on lap number 1. And boy, once he got out, it seems like that's a comfortable thing there. Oh, look out there. Boy, the 33 Odger, the 42 at Zeller, and the 37 Rinker all tagging each other early on. It wouldn't be Tri-Hull if they weren't running into each other, Tim.
This is a good battle right here. Cole Wary and Tanner Rinker. Cole has got the boat trimmed good today in the rough water. He's not overdriving it. And a lot of times, you got to slow down to go faster.
Yeah, you do. And he pushed hard and fought valiantly with the 10 of Tanner Rinker. He was able to get by the 10 of Tanner Rinker and finish up in second place. Then we saw this man just all over the place. Was the 10 of Tanner Rinker, driving it like he stole it, pushing it to the limit, all the way to a third place finish. And the man who went wire to wire after getting out in qualifying heat number 3 out front early, the man from Ector, Texas, running for Rise Fitness, the 63 of Aaron Green, buttons up qualifying in Tri-Hull, Tim. Well, look at the bathtub effect there of the water, and this is after the heat. Can imagine what it's like. They're slamming off that concrete seawall here on the north side of the Colorado River. Let's take our unofficial full standing results here with Aaron Green taking the win.
Had a good run. Aaron stayed in it. Cole did what he needed to do, got right up on him, beat the competitors he's fighting in the championship with.
Well, it looks like they're actually the 17 of Neil Marsh by thousandths of or hundredths of a second nipped the 10 of Tanner Rinker. He finishes in third. He needed that to stay up there with Waring.
I think Tanner took a bad hit coming down the front straightaway on that last straightaway and allowed Neil to get by him. Mason in 6th, so he's still in the hunt.
Darren Ware, he falls back all the way to 9th position, and then rounding out the field, the 93 of J.B. Jensen, the 13 of Gerald Shelton, and then the 88 of Josh Wells ends up going a lap down, really struggling and off the speed. But I'm surprised that the 54 of Darren Ware just didn't seem to show up there in qualifying heat number 3. I suspect that he's now going to find himself row 2, row 3, instead of on the inside of row 1 like he was, points-wise, coming into qualifying heat number 3.
Which is not bad, but it's not what he wanted, you know, and he's going to go back. He's going to tweak that setup because it is the win. Yesterday was a max of, 10? And today it's 14 plus.
Yeah, right. Oh, it's 14 already. It's not going to go down. It's probably only going to get a little bit crispier and a little flying as we get later through to the day.
Well, this will be interesting in Formula One because as you look down, I had the pleasure of going out in the 2-seater. As you start to get closer to turn 1 and 2 down there, the wind picks up. So we're really going to see what happens. I think the wind might be coming out of the creek a little bit there, and it gets definitely a heavier wind as you enter turn 1. So keep an eye on that all day long.
Absolutely. You know, during the drivers' meeting or post-drivers' meeting this morning, had a chance to chat with the likes of Andrew Tate as well as Spencer Love, and they said, you know, where we're watching today is right where that creek comes out. That the wind is going to swirl with the higher speeds. Not to mention, just before that, they have to set the boat on the dogleg. That could throw some issues. And if that wind is trying to lift the boat when you're trying to set it down into turn 1, that's going to make not only coming into the turn, but getting through turns 1 and 2 down there on the west end of the course real gnarly here today.
Just like we saw in Heat 2 of Formula One yesterday, the drivers started setting the boat at the dogleg. So with the wind blowing straight at us, very similar but stronger than Heat 2. So you're going to see that trend continue. Now, number 8, Jeremiah Mayo, he was one of the few guys that could still sweep the dogleg yesterday. So it's going to be interesting.
And it also interesting that talking to the guys who had the 4-stroke package, they said the wind and the bathtub effect from the wall made it much more difficult with that heavier, that more rear balance point and that heavier motor in the back made it a bear to handle yesterday. And if anybody's going to be able to tame that bear, it's probably the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo. He loves a challenge. The harder the boat is to drive, the harder conditions are to drive it. It seems that's when he really rises to the occasion.
Well, in the second heat, you saw race 1 winner, Dylan Anderson. he really had to lay the boat over in the second heat to keep it on the water.
And it cost him some position. He didn't even finish top 5. Let's take a look at our grid lineup here for qualifying heat number 3. On the pole, the man from Ontario, Canada, the number 98 of Aiden Benton, suffered some motor issues yesterday, got the backup motor on. Hopefully he can get out there and give it a run here in heat number 3.
Travis Yates and Jeff Reno, those guys, Travis has had a few hiccups over the weekend, but Jeff has been consistent, really.
Yeah, and then we got the 29 of Jared Jensen coming in second in points in the series. Barrel rolls yesterday in turn 2, damages his backup motor. Now on to motor number 3. He's going to start 4th off the pontoon here in V3.
Andrew Tate did a little repair last night to his boat because him and Chris Rinker got together, remember, coming out of 4 in the second heat.
Yeah, then we've got our top 2 drivers, the 24 of Spencer Love and the 17 of Dylan Anderson. They're going to go second flag start here in heat 3. Can they make their way through the field here in this brutally rough water? All right, well, we're going to send things down to the pits as our pit reporter, Pam Hall, has got some more information here before we get rolling here in Tri-Hull. Pam, take it away.
Aaron Green, we are here at the finish line. You just went out there and you won heat number 3. You had a great battle out there with Mullet, but Aaron, I want you to give us a rundown of your day just now.
Well, we started out front with Gerald. We went in the first corner, and I managed to get some clean water. We got through there without everybody wadding up. If I get some clean water, I can usually run pretty good. I could see Mullet coming in my mirrors, and I'm so thankful we didn't have 2 more laps because I knew it was going to be a handful keeping him behind me.
Well, and we were just talking too, and you were saying this is your best year yet. This is your 4th year into racing in the boats. So, I mean, all in all, the year going great for you.
Yes, it is. Finally got some good equipment. Got a new boat. Got the motor running good. We're dependable now. That's what counts.
Well, congratulations on heat number 3 win out here. This is Aaron Green right here. We're getting ready to go live racing once again with the Powerboats. But congratulations, Aaron.
Thank you very much.
Back to you guys.
Thanks, Pam, the man from Ector, Texas. A grin on his face. Second heat win under the books. Now he's looking for that big win, right? That weekend win in the finals. He got some really good points there in heat number 3. He's probably going to find himself maybe middle of the pack, front middle, probably not on the front row. But it's all about, like he said there, Tim, it's all about the clean water. If you can find clean water and avoid the, what do you call it? The Tri-Hull
Traffic jam.
Tri-Hull traffic jam around the opening corner.
That's for sure. And you know what? Every row that you're further towards the front in Tri-Hull is a huge benefit.
Yeah, well, especially you're running right in the white water, right in the wash of all the drivers. You got to stay right behind them. So inherently, just being behind another boat, you actually have less propulsion at the same RPMs as the boat in front of you because there's all that air churned in up into the water just right directly in front of you.
Well, I talked to Ray Bob's number 26, Briston Sherman, last night, and we were talking about the second heat where he got hung out to dry on the outside, and there was a freight train that came by him, and he got past like five, 6 guys, and he could not get back into lane 1. So then he had to finally duck in behind them all, but it took the whole race for him to try and make any headway.
And we've seen that in all the classes so far this weekend. You look at yesterday, we were just talking about Dylan Anderson, won heat number 1, came off the dock well in heat number 2, but still couldn't even crack the top 5. Considering he laid down such a fast lap in qualifying. Him in the 52 of Chris Rinker we see there on screen now as he's making his way down the north side of the Colorado River. They both went sub 32 seconds, and Rinker and Anderson both struggled to move their way through the field. And Rinker did a little bit better job than Anderson, I think, because he had that 2-stroke package, a little more nimble, a little less sloshing around in this bathtub-style water here on the Colorado River with the wind picking up.
I went over to the Rinker camp earlier today, and we were talking about the starts yesterday. So the first start, Chris got the initial lunge, but the motor was trimmed under too much. So he could not get the boat up off the water, and that's when Dylan Anderson's mid-range, I said, it looked like your motor was off. He came by you so fast. He's like, yeah, I just could not get the boat off the water because the trim was in too much. The second heat, the first start, it didn't start.
Right.
So they worked on that last night, and he's got, the engine guru, James Chambers, and those guys were out last night trying to replicate the start. So they were cleaning it out, and then they were sitting, just like they would do if they were coming in for the dock start. So
it sounds like we both had a conversation with the great James Chambers. I came up on him as he was right behind the cockpit. They had the rear cowling off, and I didn't even see him there, and he popped his head out from behind the capsule, the driver's capsule, and we had a conversation. And he said the same thing. He's like, I'm in the cockpit, and I'm telling him 50 seconds drivers, this guy, that guy. He's like, I felt like I was you in there.
He said that was the hardest point, trying to duplicate you.
Oh, well, it's, I couldn't touch a motor and make the thing go fast if you paid me a lot of money. So I'll stick to the announcer's booth. We'll let James do his thing on the motors. He's a wizard with a wrench in his hand, and he'll have that thing dialed in today. And I suspect you're going to see Rinker pushing hard here in Heat 3 because he's close to the top in points. Right, he's right there in that top 3 or 4 coming into this third and final qualifying heat, and they're all stacked up pretty tight. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to emerge as that pole sitter after 3 qualifying heats here in Formula One.
Well, it looks like the wind is not letting up, that's for sure.
I think it's going to be with us all day long. And now I'm going to ask you this, Tim, curious. When it comes to wind like this, would you rather have it be 17 mile an hour consistent, blowing out of the same direction all day, or would you rather have like 6, 7, 8 miles an hour, but it's changing directions and maybe doing a little swirling?
Now, you're better off as a driver to have the consistent wind, but you look out of the course right now, so up the front straightaway here, you see from turn 4 to the dog leg, and it looks pretty consistent. Then you get right past the dog leg, and look at how much stronger the wind is there. And it's coming a little bit across, so you're going to be going straight into that wind up here. And that's going to be hard to set the boat up in 1 and 2. So it's going to be a totally different turn than yesterday, because it was rough up there this morning.
Oh, I can imagine. We were watching when I was watching you out there run the 2-seater and just talking through people and feeling where the wind direction was coming from. Pam was actually up here. Her and I were getting prepared for today, and Pam said, Thomas, where do you think you're going to see the rough spots or the challenges for all the classes? So we went through the other classes, then we got to Formula One, and I said, here's where you need to keep focused. The dog leg and turn 1 and 2 down at the west end of the course. Those are going to be your spots where somebody's going to have it trimmed out, and they're going to not set it enough, and they're going to catch a puff coming out off the dog leg when they slightly change directions, or sliding out, barrel rolling, skipping out down there in turn 1 because it's rough.
Well, you could be on the outside of somebody coming through the dog leg, and if they aren't able to set the boat, they might take you out to lane 7 or 8.
You also have to watch if they do set the boat and you're too close and you're not on the trim, when they dump that air, when they make that slight change in the dog leg, when they set it, one tiny little puff of air is all you're really going to need when you've got wind running at 15 plus miles an hour here on the Colorado River. It could send them over. It's going to be very dicey on that west end of the course from the dog leg all the way down to turn 1. And I think where we're going to have to see drivers really make up ground is down there in turns 3 and 4. The question is can anybody squeeze in tight off of 4 and make it past the driver they're trying to catch before they get to the dog leg?
They've got to set the front straightaway up when they leave turn 2 on the back straightaway.
Yeah, they've got to be in position because they've got to be able to find that clean lane. I suspect some of the leaders, we're going to see a lot of 1-pin wide sweep, try to come out of turn number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lanes wide to try to take the bend off the dog leg as much as humanly possible here in qualifying Heat 3 and the final. All right, let's see here. We've got most of the drivers, I think, out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Almost the full field out there on the water. All right, looks like we're just giving the 14 of Andrew Tate a minute or two. Looks like that APX 250 V8 4-stroke had a mechanical issue. All right, look at there's the Firefly Aerospace Clover Construction sponsor number 24 of Spencer Love. He came in to round 4 here on the 2026 IHRA season with a narrow lead over the rest of the field, and he's doing a great job of holding on to that points lead here through round 4. I think after 2 qualifying heats, he was in the top 2 or 3, and can he get some more points today? But he came in with 776 points, 49 points clear of the 29 of Jared Jensen, who had a bit of a rough Saturday, barrel rolling in qualifying heat number 3. The man who's making his way up the points leaderboard with 723 points coming into the weekend. 53 points back is the 17 of Dylan Anderson and the 52 of Chris Rinker. 77 points off the lead, sitting there in 4th. We're going to have a battle between those 4 drivers here this weekend to see who can come out victorious on the battle on the Colorado and move their way up to the top spot in the point standings through 4 rounds here on the 2026 calendar. A lot of boats getting those hot laps there. There's the 14 of Andrew Tate. Last boat on the water had a bit of a mechanical issue that he had to address right before getting into the water. And we're seeing it already here in just hot laps as these guys are really starting to set the boat through the dogleg instead of sliding it, trying to manage this wind that's picked up here on Sunday, running about 15 miles an hour here on the Colorado River. They got the hot laps in. All right, now they're going to make it back. There's our pole sitter here for qualifying heat number 3. River Sports Recreation, number 98 of Aiden Benton, the driver out of Summertown, Ontario, Canada, in that composite craft Formula 1. New to him here in 2026. Just trying to get that thing dialed in and figured out. He's just hopefully has a power head that can hang through the rest of today. Had some motor issues yesterday. Ended up throwing a piston out the side of a block. That's never a fun Saturday in a Formula 1 race, is it, Tim?
It sure isn't. And, you know, a lot of times you'll have obviously a primary motor. And whenever your primary motor goes down, so we've got a couple guys this week in Aiden and also Jared in the 29. And
he's on his 3rd motor.
He's on his 3rd motor.
What does that do for the psyche of a driver? Do you have to fight that seed of doubt coming in that this might not be just, this is my backup for a reason? Or do you as a driver, did you try to mimic both motors to have them exactly set up perfectly the same so that you didn't have any of that real drop-off moving to the backup?
Well, you always try and make them as close as possible. But guess what? At the end of the day, you're pulling up to the starting line. What it is what it is. You got to make the best of what you have. So, and the guys that are going to win this championship, they're the guys that are going to have the best off day.
And it's been an off weekend so far for Jensen. Can he right the ship here in Heat 3, get some good points, get up to mid-pack? Because I think if he can find himself in that 4th, 5th, 6th starting spot, that'll give him an opportunity to try to hunt for the podium in that 18-minute plus 2-lap final in Formula 1 later today, because back markers, picks, the water's going to get rough. It's going to get churned up a lot more than it does here, even in this final qualifying heat. So it'll be interesting to see how the weekend fares for the man from Colorado who's on engine number 3.
But he's been fast all weekend. So it's not that he's not running up front or with the lead group. It's just that he's had a couple of issues. So he's had the speed, though.
Yeah, he has. There's the 34 of Jeff Reno, the man out of Okeechobee, Florida, running for strippers, things made of strips. Interesting GoPro setup on the back of that 34. And the frustrations continue for the 99 of Travis Yates. I don't know if they're going to try to get him to the dock and see what's wrong. But, boy, it seems like ever since Bradenton, Florida, when he lost the power unit, tore out of the back of that composite craft, this DAC has just not been a setup the 99 of Travis Yates is familiar with or seems to really like so far. Still a long way to getting comfortable for the man from Texas.
He had to switch boats. He had to switch engine packages. So the whole thing has been new, and it's just not been going his way right now. So I hope that changes for Travis.
Yeah, because now he's got back into jetting the motor, doing all the things that he used to do in the 2-stroke that he hasn't had to do the last 2 seasons because he's had that APX 250 V8 4-stroke on the back. And much more hands-off, plug the computer in, read the data, set the boat up differently based on the data type approach versus, elbows deep in grease, cranking wrenches, and pulling the motors apart and getting them reassembled between heat races.
Johnny Fleming, number 9, coming into the dock right now. Johnny and his brother James, they work hand in hand, and they are having a positive weekend so far. Qualified 3rd, which was good.
And then they did have a little bit of damage they sustained yesterday. I think that's what pulled them off the pace a little bit in qualifying heat number 2. He struggled quite a bit. They got that repaired last night, so should be back at 100% ready to go here for qualifying heat number 3. And then there's the man they call Get Out of My Way, the number 8 of Jeremiah Mayo running for Ray Bobs. man, if there's anybody who benefits more than any of the other drivers when the things get rough, I think it is the number 8 of Jeremiah Mayo. That kid just loves the rough water.
So the rougher it gets, the less he'll care. You know,
so counterintuitive.
That affects some of the drivers. You know, they don't like the rough water. Jeremiah, he don't care.
Correct. And
the rougher it gets, the better.
We've seen him in much rougher conditions than the Colorado here, and he always seemed to fare well when Mother Nature shows her teeth, that's for sure.
Kyle Maskell had a heck of a second heat yesterday, so he's got that Italian Powerboat running good this weekend.
He does. I think that's a guy that, you know, here in qualifying heat 3, if he can get a good start, the big thing he's going to have to do is he's going to have to beat the 13 of Schubert, I think, and the 8 of Mayo, and then he can have an opportunity to possibly go after Tate, Jensen, and the question is can he get back up front? Because he knows he's going to need to start as close to the top as possible if he wants a shot at a podium. Is this driver's skill set there? Yeah. Is the boat set up there? Well, we hope so here today. It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen with the man from Chilliwack, British Columbia.
He had a good start yesterday in the second heat, so he comes off the dock good. He'll be right in the hunt. Chris Rinker, number 52. Those guys have worked tirelessly into the night to get that thing to come off the dock, so hopefully it does, Farm.
And if they can today, that's going to be the big one. You know, those last 4 boats, the likes of Rinker, Maskell, Anderson, Love, who of that group can get out and get out in front of those four boats and essentially drive them, the rest of them, all over the course, trying to find that opportunity to move up a spot while using the driver that you pass to pick and block some of those guys behind you. Because you're going to need, especially if you're somebody like Maskell or Rinker, you're probably going to need to have 1 or 2 position places separate you between the likes of Anderson and Love if you want to find pole.
Well, here's something else to think about. Number 17 and number 24, the top 2 points getters all day yesterday, second flag.
That's going to be, that makes the hill they have to climb that much harder and that much steeper. But if there are 2 guys that have shown that you throw an obstacle at them, they'll find a way to overcome it. It's going to be the 17 Anderson and the 24 of Love, because, boy, that start's going to be crucial. And just finding your way through the rough water and picking your way and finding your spots to make a move here in this 8 minutes plus 2 laps, third and final qualifying heat here on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series. All right, looks like we've got them all lined up here on the start pontoon, ready to roll. Notice the gap there in the start, that's to give the drivers kind of an understanding that there's a buoy that they're having to go between, because not only do we have 2 flags, Tim, but we provide gates for the drivers to separate the groups into smaller boats. I imagine those gates have to make it a lot easier as a driver as you're trying to find that imaginary line to stay between.
It does. You got to have some references out there, and that's what these gate buoys do, Farm.
And the nice thing is they're not just gate buoys. They're also Formula Light Turn 2 buoys, Formula Light backstretch buoys.
Commitment buoys.
Right.
So those guys cannot change lanes until they get past those commitment buoys.
All right, coming up on the one. Who's going to come off the dock here in Heat 3? 1 minute drivers, 1 minute. Will the 98 of Aiden Benton got a new power plant on the back of that number 98 machine? Can he get off the dock and win Heat number 3 here in Formula 1? 50 seconds, drivers, 50 seconds. Or will it be the 99 of Travis Yates? He had to get towed to the start dock. Hopefully that thing will fire. Or could it be the 34 of Jeff Reno? 40 seconds, drivers, 40 seconds. The man who barrel rolled in Heat 3, he's coming 5th off the dock, the 29 of Jared Jensen. He's got to make a move. Can he do it here in Heat number 3? 30 seconds, drivers, 30 seconds. Or could it be the 14 of Andrew Tate, maybe the 9 of Johnny Fleming, and the rest of the top drivers here in Formula 1? Let's set our starting order for our main event later today, and let's see who's going to win Heat 3. 20 seconds, drivers, you're under starters' orders. He drops the flag. I think he'll take it out. Nice jump there by Maskell and the 52 of Rinker. Aiden Benton gets a jump. Oh no, Travis Yates doesn't fire, neither does the 13 of Grant Schubert. Boy, they give them they got a lot of ground to make up there to the 17 Anderson and the 24 of Love as they go down into turns 3 and 4. Oh no, looks like we had a couple of boats go way wide to the outside there.
Way wide on the outside.
Boy, did we get a couple of boats get together there down in turns 3 and 4? They stayed.
Hopefully we can get a replay of that and see.
Yeah, and it looks like something's going on with the 14 of Andrew Tate and the 22 of Kyle Maskell. Looks like they may have
got a
gotten
hole
together.
in the right side.
Yeah,
it's
looks like
a transom of Tate's boat.
The 98 of Aiden Benton, though, he's out in front now being chased by the 29 of Jared Jensen. Can the driver from Somerstown, Ontario, hang on to his first heat win here on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series in 2026? Oh, it looks like so it looks like Maskell and the 14 of Tate had to have gotten together down there, and that's got to be frustrating for the 14 of Tate.
Reno's running good in third spot with Johnny Fleming coming up on the outside. Johnny's trying to float it through the dog leg. He's on his outside hip now. Jeremiah Mayo right behind him.
Man, it shows you what that clean water can do here as the wind picks up. The 98 of Aiden Benton just got shot out of a rocket. He is gone right now. Got about a third of a straightaway lead over the 29 of Jensen. And boy, the 9 of Fleming, he's been fighting, battling with the 34 Reno. Now here comes the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo as they're almost 3 abreast coming out of turn number 4. The 9 of Fleming on the outside, the 34 of Reno on the inside, the 8 of Mayo trying to split the difference as they go through the dogleg.
They all set it on the dogleg there. And I like where Johnny Fleming is right now. Turn 1 and 2, a little rough down there. They can't just throw it in there like they normally do.
No, they are having to back off considerably. All right, let's take a look at the replay. What happened down there in turn 1 between the 22 of Maskell? Oh, it looks like Maskell tried to set in, and the 14 of Andrew Tate was trying to go wider than he wanted, and they just touched corners there. The question is what's the damage look like on the back of the 22 of Maskell? He might have had some steering bar damage or something going on there because he had to pull off the course, as well as the 14 of Tate, who's now got to try to work to fix a patch a hole in the back right sponsor of that number 14 Phenom Ventures machine.
Starting to see a good battle develop between 17 of Anderson, 52 of Rinker, and 24 of Spencer Love, but they're at the back of the pack. They're not used to being that far back at this stage of the heat.
No, and look at there, 8 of Jeremiah Mayo now goes down to the inside. He sneaks by the 9 of Johnny Fleming. It looks like we might have another boat out there on the water. We've got the yellow and blue flag out there. Are we missing anybody else? No, it looks like it's just because of the 22 of Maskell right here in front of the grandstands. Is pulled off to the side, being held there. And it looks like this crew is taking a look at that boat. Looks like the boat might be okay, but may not be able to steer after the collision with the 14 of Andrew Tate.
You got Johnny Fleming on the outside. Dylan Anderson trying to go up the inside. He's got to back off it because Johnny in the number 9 boat is right on the pins.
And he saw Anderson in there, so Fleming just set it right on the pin at turn 4 and just hosed down the 17 of Dylan Anderson. Really opened up some room.
And then behind the 17, you got Rinker and Love swapping positions to get a different drive, different line.
Well, and I was talking in the pits, and a lot of guys were saying, you know, the way you're going to see a lot of passing here is when one guy has 2 boats behind him, one on the inside, one on the outside, because he's going to have to pick one to block. But boy, that outside line coming off of turn 2 has been a struggle for the drivers as the 52 of Rinker is able to tow by the 24 of Love as they go down into turns 3 and 4.
I'll tell you who it's not a problem as far as number 98, Aiden Benton.
Boy, that new motor he's got on the back of that thing looks like it fixed a lot of problems from yesterday, because that thing is much faster than it was in qualifying heat number 1 and 2 as he started from pole and is running this thing, trying to push it all the way to the victory here with 3 minutes 54 seconds plus 2 laps remaining in this third and final qualifying heat here in Formula 1. And now we see the 38 of Jeremiah Mayo's made his way up. There's the 17 of Anderson. He's still trying to catch the 9 of Johnny Fleming, who sits in 5th position. But no surprise, rough water, Jeremiah Mayo finding his way near the podium.
Chris Rinker and Dylan Anderson having a heck of a battle here. They're trying to go everywhere they can, and they're swapping lanes. Lane 1, lane 2, lane 3.
Well, and, you know, Anderson's trying to catch Fleming, but he also keeps looking back and seeing bright yellow and all white, which is Love and Rinker in his rear view. And so they're all having to be aware of where each other is at, and none of them seem to be able to pull away from one another because of it.
No, and you're not really seeing Jared Jensen make much headway on Aiden Benton up front.
But I think with that new motor back there after barrel rolling yesterday, he's, you know, in a comfortable spot. He knows he's probably going to, you know, he's going to help move him up and just get through the heat, make sure that thing's ready for the final, and then we can really get after it. Here we go, the race leader, the 98 Aiden Benton, that River Sports Recreation machine. And he is pushing it hard down the back straightaway. 98 on the side. Summertown, Ontario, Canada's where he calls home. Making his way down into turn number 3. Now off 3, going tight off of 4. Liking that tighter line in the 2-stroke package, Tim. Trying to go short way around the course. And there's the 29 of Jared Jensen, that Island Lake Marine machine, trying to find a way to close the gap here in the final 2.5 minutes, plus 2 laps here in this Formula One third and final qualifying heat.
They've got, you know, Jared's making a little bit of headway, but it's slow.
And then we got the 34 of Jeff Reno. He's sitting there hanging on to third, and he looks back and sees that bright white orange trimmed Ray Bob's machine. There's the 34 of Jeff Reno running for strippers, things made of strips, pushing it hard. Boy, we got a battle behind him with the 24 of Love now finally getting a run out of turn number 2. There's the 8 of Mayo now. He's sitting in 4th position, trying to find a way to get by the 34 of Jeff Reno as they come through the dog leg down the front stretch.
Spencer
the
Love.
98. Oh no, 98 of Aiden Benton pulls off the course.
Oh no.
And looks like more motor troubles continue. Look at him bashing the dash there. He's got to be so frustrated, unstrapped. And our new leader is the 29 of Jared Jensen, the man from Island Lake Marine, racing out of Windsor, Colorado. Hey, sometimes you just got to be there to finish the race. You don't necessarily have to be out front as long as you can finish. And with 1 minute and 16 seconds left now, he's just trying to hang on, Tim.
It's better to be lucky than good. You know, luck wins, good doesn't. And Jared just inherited the lead. All he's got to do is click off some laps. The other thing that will really make a difference is if the number 8 of Jeremiah Mayo can get around Reno.
Yeah, because those guys were really close in points, because again, he got points because he started both heats, but he finished way back after barrel rolling in heat number 2. So Jared Jensen knew he needed a lot of points, but he also might need just a little bit of help.
That's right. You know, the number 8 boat was right up on the 34 boat 2 laps ago, and now Reno's pulled out a little bit again.
And he's, and that's, Jeff Reno's one of those guys. He may not be a start specialist. He may not have the top end speed at every race, but man, is he one hard driver to get around.
He does. He's a veteran. He's raced in all kinds of conditions over the years, so this kind of water won't faze him.
There's the 9 of Johnny Fleming there. He's trying to hang on to 5th position as the 17 of Dylan Anderson tries to hunt him down. Boy, Spencer Love once he got up by the 52 of Chris Rinker, he really started to pull away. There's the white flag. White flag out, go fast, turn left just one more time. So the driver from Colorado, can he hang on to this inherited lead in the third and final qualifying? He collects valuable points, move himself up a handful of spots on the starting grid for our main event later today.
You just can't make up any time right now in 1 and 2.
No.
You just, the water and the wind, it's just, everybody's got to be cautious up there. And some of them must be, they're probably saving it for the final.
Yeah, absolutely, especially as we get into these late stages. But it comes out of turn number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner in qualifying heat number 3, running for Island Lake Marine out of Windsor, Colorado, number 29, Mr. Jared Jensen.
Jeff Reno hangs on for 2nd place. Best finish of the year for him.
Absolutely, and then rounding out the podium here in qualifying heat number 3, the man from Richmond, Texas, running for Ray Bob Seasoning, the number 8 of Jeremiah Mayo.
Spencer Love in the 24 got by the 52 of Chris Rinker. Those are valuable points. Well, this wind is just keeps blowing, and it's going to cause havoc all day long.
Yeah, it looks like we had some of our IHRA staff was down helping hold the 22 of Maskell. Looks like we were correct. Some steering was damaged with the collision there. Looks like possibly a steering bar is what poked that hole in the top of the deck there in the back of the sponson on the 14 of Andrew Tate. Hopefully they can both get them repaired. But how about the 13 of Grant Schubert and the 99 of Travis Yates? They spend that entire heat number 3 sitting in the cockpit watching from the start dock. Boy, especially the 13 of Schubert, they've got to be frustrated.
Yeah, never got off the dock.
Ugh. What the worst place to watch a boat race, from the cockpit on the start dock. As you can see there, they didn't fire, but the 98 Aiden Benton did. So did the 29 of Jared Jensen, both getting a good run. But boy, Aiden Benton found that clean water early, got on the front. There we saw the 28, 22 of Maskell and the 14 of Andrew Tate. They tag each other coming into the entrance of the opening lap. They both had to pull off the race course. You saw the 52 of Rinker. He was just getting out of the way there.
He was collateral damage.
He was just trying to get out of the way, making sure he didn't put any more damage on that 52 machine. And boy, you got to feel for the 98 of Benton. He grenaded a motor yesterday. He gets out in front, and if it weren't for bad luck, just like Tanner Inker, he may have no luck at all as he was pushing hard, and then the boat came to a rest in the middle of the infield there, and he had to watch the final remaining few laps as a spectator after I suspect some more engine troubles on the back of that 98 machine.
Johnny Fleming drove a heck of a race right there. Dylan Anderson in the 17 got right up on him, but he didn't fold under the pressure, and Johnny Fleming in that number 9 came home in a great position. And
there you see, that's the 98 bend there. Motor went away. He has to pull off to the inside. Jared Jensen inherits the lead, and he does what he's shown that he is capable of doing here in 2026 is, hey, when I've got something in hand, I can take care of it. He has it in hand. He ran a safe, careful, there was no slamming it in the corners. He had a good enough lead that he was able to take it easy enough to make sure he get that thing back to the trailer in one piece with some very valuable points collected here in qualifying heat number 3. Got to feel good after what was a long night. I saw that crew come through. They didn't make it back to the hotel till well after 11. There's the 29 of Jensen out front. Reno, solid run, just 5 seconds back, but boy, Jeremiah Mayo was really tracking there at the end, Tim.
He was pushing them the whole way, and Johnny Fleming just kind of settled into his groove. 4th place, excellent finish.
And then the 9 of, absolutely for the 9 of Fleming, 17 of Anderson there in 5th. The 24 of Spencer Love came in leading in points through 2 heats. He can only find 6th place here in heat number 3. That's going to shake up the points. And then the 52 of Chris Rinker behind him. Boy, once he had to avoid that wreck, it really kind of spelled disaster for the rest of his race. He had to be frustrated just trying to stay out of the way.
Yeah, but Chris is up there in the points, so that one position is important.
Yes, it is. And he was fighting hard. Him and Love, they were battling most of the race there. And boy, down there at the north end, at the west end of the course where it's really rough, Spencer had a perfect corner, Chris didn't, and that one little thing allowed Rinker to get left behind as Spencer Love moved up 1 spot on the final starting grid. All right, looks like they're towing one of the guys in there. Looks like that's the 98 of Aiden Benton, the man who was out in front. It would have been great to see the 98 of Benton get a heat win under his belt here in 2026. And, we're just going to have to, he's going to have to get back to the pits, quickly get that engine cowling off and see what happens, see if they can get it put back together. Motor troubles in Heat 3. Is there any worse feeling as a Formula One driver?
There's about 5 or 6 teams that are thrashing over there in the pits right now trying to get these F1 boats put back together for the final.
Yeah, Maskell's going to have some work to do. Tate may have to get some work to do.
Schubert.
Yep, Benton, Yates. It's going to be a long. The tricky part is they don't have that much time, right? It's not like you had it happen in Heat 1. You can sit out Heat 2 and then come back here on Sunday. Well, we'll be coming back right here with more racing at the IHRA Round 4 from Marble Falls, Texas. Round 4 of the 2026 IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series, the Battle on the Colorado, brought to you by the Marble Falls Area Chamber of Commerce. It's your business, it's your chamber, it's our community. Firefly Aerospace, launch, land, operate in space, anywhere, anytime. The city of Marble Falls, Texas, in the middle of everywhere. United Rentals, work united. 5 Broadband, your hometown connection, and internet you can trust. Mission Golf Cars, the family-owned one-stop shop. Value Bank, my values, my bank. All right, welcome back, race fans, here for the finals for Formula Lights. We're going to crown a champion here in Marble Falls, the Battle on the Colorado. You know, I really want to give a shout out as well. You know, the Chamber of Commerce has been a fantastic partner here in Marble Falls for the IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series. But a big shout out to Bay Marine. They were the security boat sponsor, helping us secure everything and lock down the river all weekend long here so we could put on a fantastic race for everybody here in Marble Falls and wherever you are across the world. So thank you so much, Bay Marine. You guys, we couldn't have been able to do it without you. You guys making sure the water stays clear of all pleasure boat traffic and keeping things locked down and secure here at the Battle on the Colorado. All right, well, as you can see, we've got the Formula Lights out on the water. That means that it's finals time for Formula Lights. Who's going to be your big winner here this weekend in Formula Lights? Will it be that man right there? Can he get his first win on the IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series, the 52 of Addison Dumford, running for Dumford Irrigation and Dumford Racing? The driver out of Franklin, Tennessee, getting some really good confidence in that Hoffman hull, going to a new Hoffman hopefully towards the end or of the 26th season. That yellow boat will look just like that blue and orange boat come the 2027 season. But that man right there, the 21 of Jose Mendana Jr., is out there on the water running for Mike Scott's Plumbing, and he's starting 5th off the start pontoon. Boy, he struggled to get around the 93 at Bristol Sherman in qualifying heat number 3, and he paid for it dearly as he is shuffled all the way back to 5th in points. There's the man who's going to be second off the dock, the 35 of Mark Schmierbach. Right behind him, that will be the 52. So there's 2, 3, 4, and 5 off the start pontoon, all sitting there at the west end of the course waiting for their hot laps. And then we will line them up on the start pontoon for their 16 minutes plus 1 lap, plus 2 lap main event final here into Formula Lights at the Battle on the Colorado. There's the 69 of Wallach. He was your pole sitter yesterday. He laid down the fastest elapsed time. Then he got together with the 35 of Schmierbach on the opening start of the first qualifying heat. Had to put it on the trailer. Had to spend the rest of the afternoon working to try to get the repairs done. And finally got it back on the water and struggled in heat 3. Can he turn it around? Right next to him was the 60 of Brandon Bobalik. There's the 69 of Jared Wallach and that Peterson Racing Latitude Dispensary sponsor number 69. Bobalik, he's right there in the mix, though. He's starting 4th. So the Pizza Inn B&B Racing Team 2nd and 4th off the start pontoon. Probably the biggest surprise so far, though, the 24 of Shelby Love. The Gremlins continue after a fantastic 2025. She just missed winning her first series title down in Baytown, Texas. In the final race of the 2025 season, she started off well, winning round 1 in Bradenton, but the electrical issues and the invisible gremlins have haunted the 24 Clover machine since the opening round in Bradenton, Florida. She's not even in the top 3 in points coming in. She needs to have a big weekend here. Well, there's our next driver. That's the 82 of Colby Crook, the man out of Dawson Springs, Kentucky, running for Q&M Water Sports. Crook was there in round 1 in Bradenton, had to step away for round 2 in Port Neches and round 3 Memorial Day weekend in Shreveport, Louisiana, as he is a college golfer. Had to wrap up the college golf season before he could get back in the cockpit. There's a 2 of Travis Thompson. Struggled in heat 3, had a decent day yesterday. Almost got together bad with the 12 of Jack Schubert, but avoided collision. hoping to have a better run than he did in Heat 3, as he only made a couple of laps before he had to go dead in the water down on the backstretch. Can he right the ship here in the finals? At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter where you qualify. It just matters where you finish in the final, and that's what he's looking to do here this afternoon in this Formula Lights 16 minutes plus 1 lap main event here in Marble Falls. All right, just waiting for the last couple of boats to get on the water. There's our rookie in the Formula Lights class, the young driver out of Columbia, Missouri, in that C&M Concrete sponsored machine in that number 6 boat, Carissa Saddle. Excited to get the rookie R off the back of that boat here, hopefully before the end of the season. That driver there just got his rookie R removed. He ran a partial schedule in 2025, now full-time in Formula Lights in 2026. Is now no longer a rookie, now just having to, hopefully he can figure out how to get that motor to perform at top speed. Been a struggling weekend for the Plantation Ace Hardware number 12, but hopefully he can get the ship righted and things turned around here in the finals in Formula Lights. Well, there's the man sitting on the pole, the man running for Bill's Beef Jerky, Signature Propellers and McKee Racing, the man out of Redlands, California, that 01 machine of Jake McKee. Came in leading the series in points, leading the points through the weekend here, finds himself on pole. He won 2 weeks ago in Shreveport, Louisiana. Can he go back-to-back here in Formula Lights on the Colorado River? We're going to find out here in just a little bit. The wind is not dying down. It's got a constant 15-plus miles an hour, and it's going to be moving here for the rest of the day, making the water here on the Colorado River rough. And there's a man who can handle that rough water and is used to it. That's the 35 of Mark Schmierbach. You'll see the back corner there of that left sponson. Notice how it looks like wood, not painted like the rest of the top of the boat. That's because he got together yesterday with the 93 of Briston Sherman. They had to do some repair work. He couldn't even finish qualifying Heat 2, but he had such a dominant win in Heat 3, moved himself all the way back up to second in points. Coming into the final, going to give him a P2 starting position off the dock here in the Formula Lights main event. All right, we're just waiting for the hot laps to get underway, allow these drivers to do a couple of things. One, it'll allow them to trigger our live timing system. Big shout out to the guys at Live Timing out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. They've been with us here for a handful of years as our official timing system on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series. These hot laps will get them to trigger their transponders, make sure they're registered properly, and get those motors dialed in and warmed up and ready to roll here for their main event in Formula Lights. Now, one boat I don't see out there is the 11. That's the Clover Eagle of RJ West, that experimental boat. They came out and ran it, started last in heat number 3, just trying to get more race condition testing in here in the 2026 season. See if we can't move that APX 60 4-stroke motor onto the back of the Formula Lights class and have that as the new path forward for an engine package that has been a very, very good engine package for a very long time, but less blocks, less availability. Those old school OMC Johnson and Evinrude outboards on the back of these Formula Lights. And now, not that we can't find the parts, or there aren't more out there being made by certain people. Mostly our fantastic Formula Lights sponsor here in 2026, the great folks at Seaway Marine, your one-stop boat motor shop. Seaway Marine, find them online at seawaymarine.com. Hard to find parts, inboard parts, old outboard parts. If you're looking for something obscure from a boat motor perspective, there is no other option than Seaway Marine. They will find that part for you. If they can't find it, heck, who knows, they might even be able to make it in-house. They've done it before. Maybe they'll just do it again. But big shout out to our class sponsor, Seaway Marine, sponsoring the Formula Lights class in 2026. All right, well, they were just waiting for the 13 at Grant Schubert to get towed away from the dock. Dejected is that driver sitting on the rear cowling of his number 13, Captain Mark's Formula One machine. Not been a great weekend for the 13 at Grant Schubert. He had to jump into a backup boat 2 weeks ago in Shreveport, Louisiana, after they had sustained some damage in qualifying. And they got the boat back together, but since they have, it just doesn't seem to be running like it should here on the shores of the Colorado River, and hopefully they'll have enough time to get that thing squared away before the Formula One main event later on. There's the 01 of Jake McKee. The last thing he wanted to see was a 35 of Schmierbach next to him, but that's exactly how it shook out. Schmierbach knew what he needed to do. He got a great jump off the dock in qualifying heat number 3 and moved his way up from 7th or 8th on the grid all the way up to 2nd for starting in the final here in Formula Lights. The 60 of Brandon Bobolic. That boat, not necessarily as pretty as it once was. It's been beat up a little bit. Brandon got tangled up in a couple of gnarly wrecks last season. They did some off-season work, and we're planning on dialing that boat in and making it look all pretty. But they got to the first coat on, and then they got to the first race with Brainerd, and in Bradenton he had some more issues. So we're going to set things down now. There's Pam Halls in the pits with our Heat 3 winner, Jared Jensen. Pam, take it away.
Jared Jensen, I have to say, first and foremost, great comeback on your heat win number 3 out here for race number 3 today, or heat number 3, excuse me. But all in all, yesterday we saw you capsule side, underneath the water, and here you are, a heat winner for on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can do after a heat 2 that we had yesterday. I mean, Aiden Benton was driving a great race there, and unfortunately broke down, but it's, we had it a little better off than everybody else behind us with the rough water, starting in the 4th position. So, yeah, just kept it on the water, and definitely a little better result than the second heat yesterday. So.
Yeah, and let's talk about that for just 1 minute. I mean, first and foremost, again, what happened yesterday, but today, the water conditions out there, we have quite a bit of a breeze out there, and you have to change up your driving just a little bit.
Yeah, it was that front straightaway with all the wind in your face was definitely, the boat felt unstable. So a lot of that was just trying to not repeat anything that happened yesterday and keep the boat on the water, and if, had a little gap between us and the guy behind us, so there was no reason to push it hard in the corners. So, but it ended up working out, so we'll see how the final goes.
Well, and I was talking with your crew. Your boat was all good. It was just an engine swap basically last night, and it definitely paid off. But congratulations on winning heat number 3, and can't wait to see you out there in the finals.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And there we go. There we have Jared Jensen, our Heat 3 winner out here. And let's go back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Pam. Well, that is a man who's in a little bit better spirits here after qualifying heat number 3. He was rough yesterday. I do need to make an announcement here locally for our fans here in Marble Falls. If you have a white GMC Yukon, Texas plates RYC9620, RY6C9620. You will be towed immediately if you do not move your car. So move your car, white GMC Yukon RYC9620. All right, well, boy, that wind just keeps picking up. There's the 52 of Dumford. He's locked in, ready to roll. Can he find his way to the top of the spot on the box here in round number 4 for his first win on his first full season here on the IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series in 2026. He's starting 3rd, but he looks to his left and he sees a couple of dangerous drivers in the 35 of Schmierbach and the 01 of McKee, who start 1 and 2. All right, there's the number 60 of Brandon Bobolic. Bobolic in there, just trying to get some of that wind inside the capsule, trying to get a little, keep the sweat down and keep himself ready to roll. There you go, Brandon. What's up, man? He's ready to rock and roll. He's excited. He had to miss round 3 after his 9-5 forced him out of Memorial Day weekend on the Red River. He was real frustrated about it. We had a chance to chat before the weekend started. He hated not being there, looking to make up some ground here in round 4. There's the Tampa Terror, Jose Mendana Jr., that blue and orange Mike Scott plumbing machine. He's got some ground to make up. He's starting 5th. Can he get off the dock in that Hoffman and then use this longer race format to get ready to rock and roll and try to find his way on the podium? All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. 1 minute drivers, 1 minute. Can the man who amassed the most points through 3 qualifying heats, the 01 and Jake McKee, find his way to victory for the 2nd race in a row? 50 seconds, drivers, 50 seconds. Or will this be the race that Schmierbach gets off the schneid and finds his way back on the top spot of the box? It's been a while since he's been there. Can he do it here in Marble Falls? 40 seconds, drivers, 40 seconds. Addison Dumford starts 3rd. Can he be the guy here in Marble Falls? Then it's the 60 of Bobolic, the 21 of Mendana coming 5th. 30 seconds, drivers, 30 seconds. Then it's a 24 of Shelby Love, the 82 of Colby Crook, and the rest of the field here in Formula Lights. Let's crown a champion of the battle on the Colorado and Formula Lights. 20 seconds, drivers. You're under starters' orders. He drops the flag. Oh no, Schmierbach doesn't fire.
Doesn't fire on the number 35. And look at the slow start McGee got.
And boy, Bobolic and the 52 of Dumford go side by side. And the 21 of Mendana, he's got to be the one that's probably going to benefit the most from those 2 struggled starts by the 01 of McKee and the 35 of Schmierbach.
Jake Slane is going to go away. Yeah, look at that.
They make it through clean down there out of turns 3 and 4 for the first time here this weekend. And they come out of 3 and 4, and it looks like it is the 60 of Bobolic, and then the 52 of Dumford, and here comes this 21 of Mendana and the 24 of Love. Oh, nice move there by the 01 of McKee. Looks like he might be able to get back by the 52 of Dumford. Great move there by the young driver running for Bill's Jerky. Man, what a great move there in turn 1 and 2, because it's so rough on that end of the course, Tim.
Man, Jake's motor just did not clean out. He got the initial lunge, but it just did not clean out.
It looked like Rinkers yesterday.
Yeah,
was it the same issue? Was he trimmed too far in?
I don't know.
But how about this?
We'll
For the first time in his career in the finals, the 60 of Brandon Bobolic is trying to make up ground for not being able to make round 3. It's got to be weird for Bobolic. He's like, I'm out in front. What do I do now? They're just keep finding that clean water, man. And boy, the 21 of Mendana already up into 3rd. We're going to have a battle on our hands for all 16 minutes plus 2 laps, Tim.
Bobolic just needs to settle down. He's not really been in this position in a final before. He just needs to click his laps off. He just needs to hit his marks and make his laps. Don't do anything special.
Yeah, what happened on that lap there? Dumford now all the way back to 5th position. He was fighting for the lead on the opening lap. Now he's already back into 5th. But McKee, Mendana, and here comes Shelby Love up in 4th, starting to find a way to get on top of Mendana and fight for a podium spot.
Briston's got to get inside some. He's got the speed. He just can't turn it going into the wind.
Yeah, I think that's
number 93.
Some of that lack of experience showing up here for the 93 of Briston Sherman on that rough end of the course in turns 1 and 2.
Well, right now, Brandon Bobolic's looking awful good out front.
He is.
Oh, he's got it hanging out there into the wind.
And there's Schmierbach now. He's in 6th position. He's gotten by the 93 of Briston Sherman. The 69 of Jared Wallach. Boy, that wreck yesterday, Tim, really did a lot more, I think, to that Formula Lights Peterson racing machine than just cracking the right inside the right sponson, because that boat does not look like the same boat that laid down the fast lap in time trials early yesterday morning.
That boat normally, number 69, is a rocket ship.
And I can't believe the 35 of Schmierbach didn't fire. That is just so uncharacteristic out of the driver from Greenfield, Wisconsin. And he knew, boy, it's going to be a tall task to find his way back on the podium. When he thought there for a minute, man, he had a shot to get out in front early and maybe win this darn thing.
Yeah, you know, they kind of sat there a while in between lining up on the dock and the start. And whenever that happens, man, it just makes you cringe as a driver.
Because you're worried that all that work you put in to get it to fire exactly the way you want could just be thrown out the window.
That's right.
What normally causes that, Tim, when you sit on the dock like that?
Well, what happens is there's fuel in the crankcase. And then as you sit there, most of these guys will sit with the butterflies closed, their foot off the throttle, so it doesn't evaporate the fuel that's in the block.
Ah.
So the longer you sit there, the more that evaporates.
And then it gets just too rich and it doesn't want to fire properly?
No, it's not enough fuel.
Ah. So it chokes itself out. It just doesn't want to fire, and looks like that may have been what happened to the 35 of Mark Schmierbach. But boys, we stay with our leaders.
He's not looking, you know, he's not looking normal, even though he didn't fire. It may be something else.
That got rattled loose yesterday. Could have been that patch coming loose. But boy, the battle between McKee and Bobolic is on as they come down into turn 1. Bobolic doing a great job. You know, under the tutelage of the 35 of Mark Schmierbach, you've really seen the 60 of Brandon Bobolic progress very steadily throughout his career. And boy, he's even making better turns than our points leader is down there in the rough end of the course.
Sure is. Jake tried to go outside, inside, underneath him, in between 1 and 2, got on that hard water, and you saw the boat break loose.
And that's what he's going to have to pay attention for. You want to find those moments where you can make the moves, but you got to understand how not only the water's acting, but what the driver's going to do, as you say, before he even knows what he's going to do. And it looks like McKee is just going to have to try to find another moment. But right now he's got to make up some ground because of what happened the last time he tried to make a move.
He needs to just settle down, collect himself, and go back at it. Because, you know, in 1 and 2 again, he overturned it right there. Just look, settle down. He's got the speed.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you're a younger driver. You know, you want to try to make up all the ground from your mistake immediately, and that's just not how it works. If something like that doesn't work, you've got to have that. You've got to put that methodical hat back on and just plot yourself back into a position to make another move.
He does, because Jake's running up the inside up this front straightaway, and it's not putting him in a good position in 1 and 2.
And here we see the 69 of Wallach. Now he started 11th in this Formula Lights final, and he's all the way up into 6th position. He's trying to track down the 52 of Addison Dumford, who's back in 5th. Tim, honestly, kind of surprised. I thought as good of a start as Dumford got, I thought he might have a shot to win his first Formula Lights final, but clearly the rough water and the setup wasn't perfect after the start because he's been shuffled all the way back to 5th.
I wonder if he went smaller on propeller for acceleration because of the wind and the rough water, and it just doesn't have the speed.
You know, this is a little bit longer course for Formula Lights than we've seen in some of other races. So, you know, those punch wheels are the ones that get off the dock really well. That smaller wheel, like you talked about, maybe not the best choice. As we've got this battle for 5th heat. Now here comes Wallach wide to the outside, trying to get by the 52 of Dumford down the back straightaway. And boy, he just pulls Dumford. There's just no top end on that Dumford irrigation number 52.
Brandon Babalik up the inside, going past. Oh, Jake almost spun it out there.
Now we got the battle for 3rd and the battle for the lead. The 21 of Manania has got the 24 of Shelby Love all over him. Those two are no stranger to one another doing battles as we go overhead with our leader, the 60 of Brandon Bobalik. Now he's starting to come into the back markers. How about this? Bobalik looking to lap his teammate, the 35 of Mark Schmierbach. That would be a weird story on the day when those two go back to the pits, regardless of how they finish. If maybe the passing of the torch, if it will, from the 30 elder statesman, the 35 of Schmierbach, to his protege, the 60 of Brandon Bobalik, who's really putting it all together today. And boy, if this guy could hang on, what a fantastic win it would be for the man from Crosby, Texas.
It would be a fantastic win. And right now, he is hitting his marks. He's doing what he needs to do. And Jake's made some mistakes behind him.
And how about this? Mendana gets by the 24 of Shelby Love. He's able to get by. I think Love got by him, or they were right on top of one another.
They were next to each other, but he's been in front of her. They're running neck and neck, though. And it seems like they're far enough apart where they're not slowing each other down.
Right now, boy, there's got to be clearly something going on with the 35 of Schmierbach. Just to see him a lap down is such a surprising thing here in the Formula Lights final. Now Shelby Love dives down to the inside. Mendana now goes tight off the exit 2. Love's got to go wide out to lane number 2. They are all trying to track down the man out in front, the number 60 of Bobalik. And boy, it just seems like ever since McKee had that one mistake down there in turn 2, 3 or 4 laps ago, Bobalik used it as fuel to just open that gap between himself and the rest of the field. This is by far the best drive out of Brandon Bobalik we've seen here in 26.
It has. He's doing the right things. Jake's made some mistakes behind him. Jake needs to collect himself and then go make another run at him.
Jake also knows here as we hit the 7 minutes plus 2 laps remaining mark here in this Formula Lights final, he would love to win. But you know what? When you come in with a 70-point lead, second place isn't too shabby when you're looking to hunt down that series championship in 26.
Not considering who's in front of him. So Brandon missed the last race, so he's really not fighting for the championship at this point.
Now, he does a couple of more of these in the next couple of rounds, he might be right back up in the hunt. But for now, McKee understands, hey, those drivers that are right behind me, they're all behind me in this race. So I just got to be smart about it. So maybe with the wind conditions, the radio man is just telling him, hey, listen, I know you want to win, but don't risk finishing last because you get knocked out of the race trying to go for first.
Well, we'll see what happens. Right now, They've got some open water. So we'll see if he can make any headway.
And boy, I got to say, Bobolic, that's where I thought McKee was really going to pounce, and some of those, that second, third, and fourth place boats were going to start to close the gap, because the 60 of Bobolic, not used to being a leader and having to go through back markers, but boy, he navigated them well, and now is in that place where he's got a lot of clean water. He's really putting a fantastic race together so far here with just 5 minutes remaining.
He's having a great drive. It almost looks like Jake's motor is a little high, because every time he starts getting into the wind, look how it's skating around on him. That thing's going everywhere. I think his motor's a little too high.
Yeah, well, there's nothing he can do about it now.
No.
Unfortunately,
no,
unlike a Formula One driver, he can't move that thing up and down. He probably set the height, not expecting it to be as rough as it is, and Mother Nature decided to change the game plan for him.
I'll tell you who you got to look out in the latter stages of this race. Number 21.
I mean, he's already pulled away from Shelby Love almost a full straightaway, and they were right on top of one another just a few laps ago. And now he's going to be looking to track down the man who's sitting in third position, the one sitting in second, the 01 of Jake McKee. And that could be great for Bobolic as long as the race gets over before Mendana gets around McKee, so Bobolic doesn't have to deal with him.
That's right, but it's going to be a three-way battle for first place, and I think you got enough time for that to materialize.
I do as well. I think maybe that last final 2 laps, we might see just a knockdown drag out between those three. It's going to be a fantastic way to finish. Hey, leave it all on the line.
That's right, just like you like it.
Absolutely, as Mendana comes off of turn number 4 now, trying to get off that hard water. Look at Mendana doing exactly what we talked about, wide line. Go outside, you've got top end speed. That boat runs flat, it's got amazing cornering speed. No need to jam it down in there. And now he's just got to try to get by the 82 Q&M Water Sports of Colby Crook so he can keep trying to hunt down the 01 of Jake McKee.
Look how much ground he's made up. So Jake McKee in the 01 makes the hole, gets by the lapper. It's much easier for Madonna because the hole's already there. Colby's on the outside then because of Jake being in the inside. Madonna in the 21 goes right through.
60 Bobolic there gets by the C&M Concrete rookie of Carissa Saddle as we stay above the 21 of Madonna here as he goes down into turn 1. Now he tries to go tight to the pin off 1. He's liking that. I think he's setting that up to try to get a good wide RPM run off turn 2 because that back straightaway going with the wind seems like where he's been able to make up a ton of ground.
He is. I think he's making up ground on both straightaways.
And that Hoffman runs so flat, whereas the 01 of Jake McKee and Revolution, more of a tail heavy, same with the 60 of Bobolic. Do you think those the boats that are a little tail heavier struggle to find that extra acceleration with the wind?
Well, you got to be careful with that type of boat running into the wind in rough water because it's going to bounce off a wave and you're already high with the front end.
And Mendana having to get by the 6's Saddle gives up a little ground there, but let's take a look. Bobolic's 3 seconds ahead of Jake McKee, and McKee's a full 3 seconds ahead of Mendana, almost 4.
Look who's in 4th place.
Jared Wallach just plugging away. He obviously didn't have a great heat number 3, but just trying to find some points, and maybe he'll be able to catch the 21 of Mendana.
He's in his rooster tail right now. He's getting close. That Mulgard likes the rough water.
And that's exactly what Jake McKee was hoping to see. He sees Wallach and Mendana doing battle, and now you're going to see that lead between 01 of McKee and the 21 of Mendana for second place really start to grow. Maybe breathe a little sigh of relief. Oh, the 69 of Wallach loses his rear cowling
in 2.
And that could play a little bit of a bugaboo for the 69 of Wallach. It's going to change that air attitude around the back cowling. Could that spell disaster or be exactly what it needed, maybe a little extra air in the motor?
He's going to have to stay out of the rooster tails now because otherwise he's going to get a shot of water.
As they go down into turns 1 and 2. Boy, Wallach staying off his hip though, playing smart, and good job there by the rookie, the 93 of Briston Sherman, just getting wide to the outside. He knows those two are battling for the podium. He moves off to the outside there. The 69 of Wallach now at risk and exposed is that center section where all the electronics, the batteries and everything are on that 69 Latitude dispensary, Peterson Racing sponsored entry. But how about Brandon Bobolic? Oh boy, we got, that's for the rear, for Wallach's rear cowling, as we've got our blue and yellow flag out, letting them know there's debris on the course, because that cowling's still hanging out just outside of turn number 2, that the 69 of Wallach lost just a couple of laps ago.
Man, hopefully everybody sees that. It's floating pretty high, but wouldn't it be a shame if you hit your own cowling?
That's karma right there, that's for sure.
Gosh.
Oh, well, they keep fighting here. We're back. We're under a minute now, plus 2 laps.
He's right on Jose.
McKee's 2 seconds back. Jose's 5 off of Jake McKee, but Wallach is just a quarter second or a half a second or so. And now they're getting by the 2 of Thompson. Boy, and what's going on with Shelby Love? She is just way off the pace here today, not on the lead lap. A very uncharacteristic run for the young woman out of Santa Rosa Valley, California.
Well, she's got some kind of mechanical going on because she would be running further up towards the front of the pack.
But she's collecting points. You know, we all know, hey, you just got to finish. You just got to bring those points in. So smart, she's staying out of the way there. McKee hopping it a little bit, coming on a turn number 4 as it's getting rougher down on the east end of the course as McKee continues to try to find Bobolic. But I got to give Brandon Bobolic a big round of applause. I mean, it has been 2 seconds or greater the entire race. He has never once allowed McKee to even sniff trying to get by him here in this Formula Lights final so far. But we've got a couple more laps left. As the next time around, I think we're going to see that white flag for the 60 of Brandon Bobolic.
Well, and it is open water in front of him, so that is better for Bobolic.
He's like, great, I don't have to worry about passing any lappers on the final lap.
Here we go, white flag.
And the battle is on between our leader, the 60 of Bobolic, and the 01 of Jake McKee as they go down into turns 1 and 2. We'll stay with them. Bobolic chooses to go wide off at turn number 2. McKee goes down tight to the inside. McKee now goes off the pin, and he starts to gain some ground, but he closes through the...
Looks like something happened to Bobolic.
Oh, no. On the final lap, it looks like the 35 of Schmierbach is pulled off the race course.
Wait a minute.
But the 60 of Bobolic goes down there. Turn 1, they get together. Oh, and barrel roll the final lap of the Formula Lights final. The 60 of Bobolic was not going to give him that lane, and the 01 of McKee stuck his nose in there.
And he barrel rolled over the top of him.
Over the top, and that's the second time we're going to see down there in the pits. Make sure Bobolic gets out okay. There's the 69 of Wallach. He's going to keep moving as he goes across the start-finish line. Let's get our IHRA rescue team down there. Hopefully they get the 60 of Bobolic. Boy, you could tell there was a bit of frustration there coming off of turn number 2, and Bobolic just was not going to leave that lane open for the 01 of McKee, and McKee was like, hey, man, I'm going in there. You better leave me a lane. And boy, they both get wadded up and collected on the final lap of the Formula Lights main event. Could that mean that the 21 of Jose Mendaña is your de facto winner here? What's going to happen? We're going to have to wait and find out. But it looks like we're trying to see. There's the 60 of Brandon Bobolic. He's got to be very frustrated as he gets on the boat there and wringing out, soaking wet. Boat's upside down. Man, that has got to be a frustrating end to an otherwise unbelievable run for the 60 of Bobolic.
Let's watch the replay.
As he gets his helmet off there, coming down, and McKee is right on his hip, and he's like, hey, man, I'm in there, and Bobolic just goes up and over the top of the 01 of Jake McKee. Boy, you know, looks like fairly limited damage for both of them. The problem is there's half a lap left now.
Let's see what kind of room they got, because it's just hard to see how much room there really was.
They was
both
room
set.
There. But the problem all weekend long here in Formula Lights, we saw the same thing in both opening of Heat 1 and 2, trying to turn that hard left down in turn 3, and especially with the wind and how rough the water is, just doesn't seem to be something that the Formula Lights...
Here's a slow-mo of another angle. You know, I think Brandon's boat got up on the deck of Jake's boat, and then he wasn't able to turn it.
No more turning at that point. He was just hooked up and hanging on and going for a ride.
He was going for a ride.
Because once he gets up on the deck, it almost looks like he just goes from turning left to going straight, and it just pushes into the 01 of McKee.
Yeah, he had no control at that point.
I wonder if the 01 of McKee can get it started, and what we're going to do here. Are we going to have a one-lap dash for cash? Are they going to call it? Very interesting to see what's going to happen here in this Formula Lights final, but boy, I'm curious what happened out of turn number 2 for the number 60 of Brandon Bobolic. The motor bogged. The motor bogged coming out of turn number 2. And that was all she wrote for the 60 of Bobolic. He knew he was going to give it up. He had to stick the nose in there. He had to give it one last try. And you can see he's a bit frustrated there on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series rescue boat. Boy, it's going to be a frustrating rest of the day for the 60 of Bobolic. The question is can Jake McKee get it started. Is he going to get assessed any sort of penalties for stopping the race? What is going to happen? As we see the 60 of Brandon Bobolic make his way in to be checked out by our local medical partners. Getting a thumbs up from Caleb McCumber. What part of the IHRA rescue team? Looks like the 60 of Bobolic is okay, but unfortunately his race is done. He was so close to his first win ever on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series in the Formula Lights class, and boy, now he's going to have to settle for a 10th, 11th place finish here in this Formula Lights final. And boy, what a rough weekend it was for B&B Racing, as the 35 of Schmierbach went out just 2 laps before that. For the first time in a long time, B&B Racing not completing the final either boat. Now we're just waiting for Chief Referee Doug Ray, the scoring team, Managing Director Tim Siebel, and everybody just decipher everything, see what we're going to do for a rolling restart here and what things are going to look like, because we have yet to crown a champion in Formula Lights. Are we going to have a 1-lap dash for cash as they get the 60?
Oh, yes, we are.
Ooh, all right. Well, hey, as you know, if the managing director tells you it's happening, it's happening, Tim. So it looks like we're going to have a 1-lap dash for cash, and the 21 of Mendana and the 69 of Wallach now are going to be doing battle side by side in row 1.
So actually, it's going to be what? They're going to run a couple laps, right? So
okay, just like NASCAR, we're going to go green, white, checker.
Yeah.
So we'll have 1 green lap, 1 white lap, and then we're going to drop the checkered flag. The question is will the 01 of McKee, now he still looks like he's out there on the water, will that boat be able to fire, and where is he going to end up on that 2x2 starting grid because he was involved in an accident? Again, I don't know the rules. It's such a tight area of, you know, who instigated the accident and were they a part of it, because the 01, considering the fact that another boat flipped over the top of that 01 of Jake McKee, that boat looks like it's in pretty good shape, Tim.
Well, they will for sure have them come in to take a look at it. Right now, I've not seen them start the motor. You can definitely see a steering bar bent on the left side.
And now we see, once they get together, now let's watch that steering bar right there back by that white engine cowling. You might see how that gets bent once Bobolic.
You can't see it.
Yeah, it's just Bobolic's got him covered up. But you can see right there, the boat hits the side of the steering bar, and it just pushes that 01 of Jake McKee, Bill's Jerky sponsored entry, down into the water. And now those steering bars, Tim, once they get bent like that, how easy is it to get them back in place so you can at least steer the boat? Is that something that might be, you know, if it's not in a good place, you're just going to have to pull the plug? That's got to be frustrating.
Well, that's what they got to do. They got to get it in. They got to look at it. They got to make sure the steering is operational and in the right spot. See, that's when he gets on top of his deck, and he ends up going, he can't keep turning. So then the 01 is already starting his turn, and the number 60 can't turn because his right sponson was on top of his deck.
Yeah, frustrating they both have to be frustrated. I can imagine there may be some back and forth between the drivers post-race. I had, you know, it was my lane. No, it was my lane. I left you a lane. You pushed me out. You know, we just got together. It's a racing incident. It happens. But sucks for the 60 of Brandon Bobolic, because was really excited to see that young driver get his first win potentially. And now he's going to have to watch the rest of the race from the shore. How about that?
We're still trying to get some of the other boats off the course so that way we can restart this thing.
Yeah, and there's a 35 of Schmierbach. I mean, we knew something was going on in that motor. It didn't fire off the start dock. It didn't look.
Never looked right all day.
And, you know, that's what happens. You know, you can have the smallest collision, and you think everything is fine. And even when you go through everything, you'll still find that one minute, minuscule little component that was rattled loose, you know, knocked at a weird angle. And, boy, it really can change the performance of these Formula Lights in an instant.
Sure can. Any of these, you know, they're fine-tuned racing machines, so any little thing can upset it.
All right, they finally got the 60 of Bobolic back to the trailer, and they're going to have to get that thing up and dried out. Doesn't look like there's a ton of damage here. Hopefully there's
Yeah,
not
it's
too
hard
much.
to say.
But yeah, I mean, he did most of that part of the boat that he made contact. He's still in about 2 feet of water at the boat ramp down inside the creek there. And that's going to be, you know, I love having that creek there because it really helps us stage the boats very well in between races, getting the different classes out onto the water quickly. A little bit of a delay here, but we'll be back under racing here as soon as we can. Well, and McKee getting out of the cockpit as he continues to wait for a ride back to the pit so they can take a look at what's going on with that 01 machine. And boy, he's all the way over by. So he's all the way down there by the Chili's and River City Grills patios. Well, we're going to take a quick break here, and we're going to have a word from a few of our sponsors. We'll be right back with the conclusion of the Formula Lights final here in round 4 of the IHRA Formula 1 Series. Round 4 of the 2026 IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series, the Battle on the Colorado, brought to you by the Marble Falls Area Chamber of Commerce. It's your business, it's your chamber, it's our community. Firefly Aerospace, launch, land, operate in space, anywhere, anytime. The city of Marble Falls, Texas, in the middle of everywhere. United Rentals, work united. Vive Broadband, your hometown connection, and internet you can trust. Mission Golf Cars, the family-owned one-stop shop. Value Bank, my values, my bank. All right, race fans, we're back here for just a moment. As you can see, the 01 of Jake McKee's trying to take a look and assess the damage on the rear of that Bill's Jerky McKee Racing Formula Lights. He's trying to get that rear cowling off, trying to get the steering bars and take a look at what is going on. Same with the 24 of Shelby Love, as she's out of the cockpit as well, struggling to get that Clover machine running today. But as we get the rest of these boats towed off the water, we're going to take a look back at our two-seater race ride experience here on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series.
Thanks, guys. I'm down here right now on the Riverside getting ready to get in with the two-seat of Tim Siebold. I'm super stoked for it, the opportunity here to come out here with the F1 Powerboats Championship. To get to go for a ride in one of the boats is going to be awesome, so I cannot wait. Okay, Tim, we're getting ready to go for a ride in your two-seater, but I wanted you to talk to me a little bit about it because obviously this is not one of the race boats. This is an F1 boat, but not one of the race boats. This is a two-seater. So can you tell me what the difference is between the race boat and then your two-seater that we're getting ready to go out in?
Yeah, the primary difference of the IHRA F1 race ride experience boat is the fact that it's for two. So it's got to be built so it can carry the weight of two adults. So on the typical Formula One boat, single seater, only the pilot, driver sits in it. So the two-seater has a little bit wider tunnel, it's got a little bit wider running pads, and it's got the awesome Mercury Apex 360 on it.
Okay, and I want to talk about this as well too, because we were talking earlier and you were telling me how whenever you're in that boat, you're pedal down for the most part. Everything is done by the trim and the steering. So let's tell the audience at home that doesn't know about how these boats work.
Well, there's no brakes, first of all. So they're direct drive, there's no neutral. So when you start them, you're moving forward. And the cool thing about these is you use the trim in order to scrub off speed, and that's why you wet more of the running surface as you're coming into the corners. But when the water conditions are good, just like they will be today, then you just leave your foot to the floor and you use the trim to come in and out of the corners.
And also you were saying the less the boat in the water, correct? I mean, you have just the backside of the boat, the propeller, and basically the backside of the boat in the water, and that's how you make it go faster, correct?
That's right. So on a Formula One boat, the propeller is your tire compound, your suspension, and your transmission all built into one thing. And they're all hand done. You can have them duplicated, but they never quite are exact. So it's a fine art, and that really is how you get the feel of the boat.
Well, Tim, all this talking about it, I'm super stoked to go for a ride, so let's go get on it.
All right, let's roll.
Wow, that was an experience of a lifetime. My adrenaline is still pumping. I cannot believe how this boat handles in the turns. We did not bobble at all. I mean, between the trim that he's doing and the steering, an amazing experience, something I'll always remember. But right now, let's go back to you guys.
All right, race fans, welcome back here as we take a look at the 01 of Jake McKee. The Clover team is all hands on deck, trying to help the 01 of Jake McKee get that thing fired one more time after the wreck with the 60 of Brandon Bobolic. Tim, boy, it's got to be a just high intensity right there as they try to figure out what the heck has happened to that old machine.
Well, they got a couple things going on. They're trying to get it started. They're trying to make sure the steering is all good to go and everything at the same time. So we'll see if they are able to get the thing started. At first they thought these boats are equipped with a rollover switch. So when they flip over and go upside down, then it kills the ignition. So it does that so it doesn't ingest water into the motor.
Yeah, and then they've got to reset all that stuff. It looks like they're checking steering bars. Looks like we've even got John Schubert from the IHRA helping make sure that that steering bar on the left side is secure. It looks like they got it bent back into place, but hopefully they're going to have enough time to try to get this thing back on the water. The question is where he is going to start this green-white checker here in the Formula Lights final. But right now, the man on the shore who's going to have to watch from there for the rest is Brandon Bobolic. Pam's got him down in the pits. Pam?
Brandon Bobolic, excuse me. We're here at the ramp, not where we want to be right now because you were leading that race just now, and here we are at the ramp, and your boat's a little cracked up here.
It is. I just want to thank my team for working their butts off to make this boat as fast as it was. It took us all weekend to get there, and I hope the 01 boat's good. I did see him out there, so I'm glad he finished the race. It's unfortunate, but that's racing. It happens, and it just happened to be today.
Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about what happened out there. I mean, obviously the 01 is out there, but let's talk about what's going on and what happened out there when the wreck happened.
So he pulled up on my outside. We were neck and neck, and we both went into the turn. I'm not sure if I skipped out and hit him or he might have pinched me a little bit, and I flipped right over the top of him. So it was like a slow motion and then the wall of water. So
Like you said, though, racing does happen, and unfortunate this is not your weekend out here, you know, on going into your final feature this morning. But you're okay. That's all that matters. Your boat will have to have a little bit of fixing to it, but you're good. So I'm glad to see you standing here and talking to me right now, but being okay.
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to thank IHRA for sponsoring this race. They're really great. I enjoy everything that they put on. And like I said, I got to thank my team for doing a wonderful job this weekend and getting this boat going.
All right. Well, thank you so much for talking with us, because I know that you just endured quite the crash out there. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you.
All right. And back to you guys.
Boy, you can see it, Tim, there, the 60 of Brandon Bobolic, just, you know, thumbs up, putting the smile on for the crowd, but got to be a pretty dejected driver there, the 60 of Brandon Bobolic.
Oh, he's disappointed, and rightly so. You know, that was going to be his first ever series win.
And that's a big deal for these guys. It's not an easy thing to win in any class on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series, especially in Formula Lights with all the top drivers. And he's going to have to watch from shore. But at least now, you know, I guess you try to take the good away from it. If you put yourself in the driver's shoes, Tim, at least now he knows he can do it, right? He can get out in front. He can run a race. Obviously, he made a little mistake coming out of turn 2, which allowed the 01 of McKee to get up on his deck, and it seemed like that wide line on the backstretch was way faster than the inside line there, and he got up on him, and you know what? Now he's just got to put it all back together, reset, and get ready for Alton, Illinois, because that's going to pose another challenge. But now he knows, he's got the confidence, hey, I can get out there and run with the front runners.
That's right. He knows that his equipment's there. He knows he can withstand the pressure. So that is huge for him going forward, and he's going to win one of these. I'm sure of that.
Now the question is how things are going to shake out. Looks like they've got the rear cowling back on the 01 of McKee. We saw the 24 of Shelby Love. She's got her motor cowling going back on. She's strapping back into the cockpit, so they have that one figured out. The surprising thing, though, the 69 of Jared Wallach either electing to or not able to put the rear cowling back on that number 69 Formula Light. Surprised that they weren't able to at least get that thing back on there, put some duct tape just to protect that boat in this green-white checker finish here in Formula Lights.
Well, I didn't think the rescue team was able to get it.
No, they definitely grabbed it. It's either that or it's floating down into the creek there, if you can see way down far just past the east end of the course. But I do believe that the rescue team got it. Now, just because they got it doesn't mean that you can get it to fasten back onto the rear cowling. Right. It may have had its locking mechanisms, may have broken up, could have gotten run over by one or two boats out there. But boy, how about the 69 of Jared Wallach? Starts 11th out of 12, finds himself on the outside of row 1 here, fighting for the win here in Marble Falls. It couldn't have gone any better so far for the 69 of Wallach.
No, and it seemed like the longer the race went, the better he was running.
Yeah, I think finally got some confidence back, got, you know, a little bit more comfortable in the adjusted setup they had to make. So hopefully he is able to run it hard. But boy, the 01 of Jake McKee, though, coming back out on the race course. Or is he bringing that thing onto the trailer? No, looks like the 01 of Jake McKee is going to make his way to the trailer. Frustrating for the driver from the Redlands, California. He's going to call it a day and put it on the trailer. So close to his third win in 3 races, just unable, excuse me, his second win in 2 races and extending that points lead. And that's going to shake up the point standings here as we get ready for this rolling restart. We're going green-white checker here in Formula Lights. As our pace jet ski Jared moves off the course, we're waiting for that final orange flag to be dropped by Chief Referee Doug Ray. Then we're going to go under racing here at a green-white checker. He drops the flag. Go, go, go. We got a green-white checker dash for cash here on the shores of Marble Falls. Oh, look out. Mendana almost gets taken out by the 69 of Wallach. Wallach goes back through the spray. Boy, they are making moves here in this 3-lap dash for cash, Tim.
Oh, Wallach tried to go underneath him, and Jose wouldn't have any of that.
Boy,
but, you know, he's got to be careful because he doesn't have the rear cowling on. So if he takes a shot of water, it's going to slow him down just enough, and he'll never get to him.
And how about this? The 52 at Dumford now finds himself back up in 3rd place. Could he get on the podium? But boy, the 21 of Mendana, hard to give him clean water and expect him to do nothing but run away from it. White flag is out. Final lap here. Green-white checker finish here in Formula Lights. The 52 of Dumford sitting in 3rd. The 69 of Wallach in 2nd, and the 21 of Mendana out in front here on the final lap of this main event in Formula Lights. Down into turn number 3. Nice turn there for Mendana. Now Wallach looks to make the move. He goes down to the inside.
Oh, he went back to the outside too.
He just didn't have enough room down to the inside as they come out of turn number 4, walking it down the start-finish line. Ladies and gentlemen, taking the battle of the Colorado in 2026 in Formula Lights, the Tampa Terror, number 21, Jose Mendana Jr.
Jared Wallach, second place, great run from where he was.
And how about the 52 of Addison Dumford after carnage all over the course? Hey, you just got to finish the race sometimes. Bringing home his first podium in his young career for the 52 of Addison Dumford. But how about Jose Mendana Jr.? He came in 4th in points, and the only driver that finished in the top 5 here was the driver that finished behind him, and they were only 4 points apart coming into this weekend. Boy, with Jake McKee getting knocked out of the final and Shelby Love finishing last after barely getting started, we may see an extremely tight points battle going into Alton, Illinois. They are all over one another in that top 5. Boy, you could throw them in a hat and pull any of them out. What an amazing run, and how great of a rest of a season we're going to have in Formula Lights.
Wow, what a crazy ending. Crazy ending to a crazy race, but man, it was entertaining.
Yeah, we take a look here. Start off the race, Schmierbach doesn't fire. And then 01 of McKee doesn't really fire. He got off the dock, but like, did he maybe hit the trigger a little bit and kill the motor for a brief second?
I don't think so. I think it just stumbled.
And that allowed the 60 of Bobalik and the 52 of Dumford to go out. And Bobalik got the inside line, and he was running away with it for the majority of the race. And the battles were for 3rd and 4th, 4th and 5th, 5th and 6th, 6th and 7th. Well, that is until the final few laps of the race. There's the 69 of Jared Wallach. He started to really make some moves. Oddly enough, after he lost his rear cowling, things seemed to get even faster as he started to pick his way through the crowd. And then here's the move, the 60 of Brandon Bobalik coming out of turn number 2.
Well, that's out of 4, but let's watch when he comes out of 2 up here. The thing was really slow coming off the corner, and that allowed Jake to get right up next to him. And when it did, it was a drag race down to 3, and for the race win.
Yeah, it was. There's the 35 of Schmierbach. He was off the pace all afternoon. Something definitely wrong in the power plant on that 35 pizza in machine. Mendana, though, always there, always in the fight, always making the right moves whenever he can. He goes and continues to push hard. He was sitting in 3rd. Bobalik was trying to run away from the field for his first win on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series in the Formula Lights class. He was making great laps. He got his way through back traffic impressively well, Tim, for the first time he's really had to do that here in a main event. And again, it all came down to that final lap, and right there, boom, down in turn number 3, him and McKee got together, and he just went sending right over the top of the 01 of Jake McKee, and boy, that totally changed the complexion of this race with just 1/2 a lap to go.
It sure did, and those guys had such a good battle going the whole time, and man, what pressure. Here, Wallach tries to go underneath, but that didn't work, so then he had to go back to the outside, and that may have cost him the race right there.
Yeah, and Mendana was not going to allow him to try that up and under. He stayed on the gas, made sure that Wallach had to go through the spray. And boy, when you put a guy like that out in front, it's real hard for anybody else to try to grab that checkered flag away from the veteran that is the 21 of Mendana.
Won by less than 3 boat lengths.
Yeah, but a good run for him. He struggled the opening round in Bradenton, Florida. But you know what you said, I've said all year, it's all about who has the best, worst weekend. And right now, it looks like the best, worst weekend so far possibly belongs to the 21 of Jose Mendana, because McKee hadn't had his worst weekend yet. Well, that just showed up right here.
He didn't have a bad day yet.
No, and it all kind of came together all at once. And he went from 2nd place points and extending his series lead to a 10th place finish here in the final, and now he's going to have to come fighting and clawing in Alton, Illinois just to hang on. We may even see a new series points leader at the end of Marble Falls. We don't know yet. We'll have to take a look at all the points, but if we don't have it, it's going to be pretty close. Look at that, 0.3 of a second between the 21 of Mendana and the 69 of Wallach. What a great run.
Number 52, Addison Dumford, great finish, first time on the podium.
Yeah, and how about this 93 of Briston Sherman coming in 4th? That boat is really fast. I think once he figures out how to corner in that number 93 JH Performance, Rick's roofing machine, he is going to be a danger to a lot of those top drivers. But heck, solid run in his second race here in Formula Lights 93 at Bristol. Sherman able to secure a top 5 finish, coming in 4th. Great run for him.
Now that was a very good race. You know, I think the wind's laid down a little bit, which is good.
Yeah, the Formula One guys like the Talent Cup's going to like that a little bit as well, because I can imagine when it gets rough out there, those monohulls in our Talent Cup can get tossed around quite a bit. They're a smaller boat in size. They've got their limited power with that 15-horse Mercury on the back. And here we go again. Mendana, then Wallach, Dumford, then Sherman. Colby Crook with the top 5 finish here in his second race in 2026. And hey, Jack Schubert figured it out a little bit, but McKee, so much carnage there in the Formula Lights final. McKee finishing 7th, 2 laps down behind our winner, the 21 of Mendana.
I think Jake's still going to be your points leader after this. I think he had enough of a cushion built up, but it has definitely tightened up.
Yeah, it has tightened up quite a bit. And oh boy, in the next round, you want to talk about current and rough water? Well, the mighty Mississippi will dole that out in spades. Will the Mississippi River? That's a rough body of water with a fast current, and we're going to have to see who is going to come out on top there as we head to round 5 for Formula Lights as they wrap up here their battle on the Colorado. Round 5 in Alton, Illinois at the Midwest Nationals. All right, well, coming up now, we've got the Talent Cup. They're going to line up their 4 boats side by side in rows 1 and 2. Who is going to come out on top? Your pole sitter in the Talent Cup is going to be the number 69 of Luke Brown. He's going to be your pole sitter on the inside of row 1. On the outside of row 1 is going to be the number 24 of Addie Love. She had a big win in round 1, was on the podium in round 2, comes into round 3 here in the Talent Cup with a nice little lead over the 69 of Luke Brown. But Luke Brown finds himself on the inside of row 1, and then it's the 36 of Jackson Cressy on the outside and the inside of row 2, and the 77 of Colton Shane rounding out. All right, here we go, waiting for green flag to be dropped. There we go. We are under racing here in the Talent Cup with the 36 of Cressy, the 24 of Love, and the 69 of Luke Brown as they are all side by side coming down the front straightaway. Who's going to make it into turn 1? Boy, Cressy's got a nice run there, but how about Luke Brown? Put a hole in the boat 2 weeks ago, and now that thing is dialed in, and he is absolutely cruising. Comes out of the turn 1 in the lead.
He had the line going into 1 because Jackson had to turn it so tight that he didn't have any acceleration. So that was a good job by Luke right there.
Yeah, I think, instead of trying to fight his way into the pin and go short way around the course, he knew, hey, I'd much rather have a better turn here in the opening turn. He saw what happened in heat number 3 in the opening turn, and the boat just bogged down in the corner. He didn't want to have that happen, and a great move by the young driver out of Richmond, Texas, running for JH Performance Boats. Now finds himself out in front in this 4-lap final here in the Talent Cup with the 24 of Addie Love fighting with the 36 of Jackson Cressy side by side as they battle for 2nd and 3rd.
Good battle right there. Jackson on the inside, Addie's on the outside. She's trying to sweep the corner. Oh, can't get the boat set.
Gets kicked way wide to the outside. Cressy, nice move there. He's able to get it up to the inside. But now the 24 of Love, she still had some good speed, so starts to catch back up. But boy, the 69 of Luke Brown starting to pull away early here in this Talent Cup final here at the battle on the Colorado. Here's the battle for 2nd. As you can see, quite a good lead for the 69 of Luke Brown as he comes off of turn number 2 down the front straightaway.
And he gets around
the start-finish
Jackson.
line. Well, that outside line, she likes that outside line, and it's fast out there. Jackson, I think, realizing that sometimes the short way around the course is a very slow way around the course here in the Talent Cup.
Now, what a difference 2 weeks make. Luke really, he really wasn't on pace in Shreveport. Then he got a hole in the boat. And now he comes here, and that thing is on fire.
Especially today in heats 2 and 3, he ran really well with a couple of solid finishes. That's what put him on pole position, and he's translated that good running in qualifying heats 2 and 3 here today into a dominant lead so far here in this final in the Talent Cup.
Really driving well. So Addie going, she was way outside that time.
Yeah, she's just trying to keep the speed up, right? Doesn't want to spin out in the corner, trying to collect some good points. So she does have a 29-point lead over the 69 of Luke Brown. That may change after this weekend, but she knows if she doesn't want it to change, she's got to at least hang on to that second place finish here in the Talent Club final.
You know, if it ends up in 2 more laps, just like it is, we're going to have a different winner at every single race this year for the Talent Cup.
And that's what it's all about, right? It's all about getting these kids experience in all the different facets of racing, winning, coming close, you know, having to congratulate the person that beat you on the race course when you're on the podium. All these things come into the, you know, the desired goals of what the Talent Cup is. And right now you're going to see Luke Brown come around out of turn number 2 down the east end of the course. He's going to make his way across the start-finish line. A white flag is out. 1 more lap for the driver from Richmond. Can he get his first win in his young career here on the shores of the Colorado River, downtown Marble Falls, Texas?
Looking good so far. Excellent turn in 1.
See if Love can make a better turn here. She's been going super wide, much tighter there that time, as she was barely able to separate herself using those wide lines over the 36 of Jackson Cressy. The driver is trying to hang on to third, and boy, the Shane Racing and the 77 of Colton Shane still trying to dial that thing in here in 2026 in his second run in the Talent Cup. He's a little bit off the pace here in the final.
You know, they found out yesterday they had the motor kicked out too far, so they made an adjustment, and I think that they are getting closer to where they need to be.
Well, the man who is right where he needs to be right now is the man with the checkered flag in hand. Ladies and gentlemen, winning the Talent Cup final here at the Battle on the Colorado out of Richmond, Texas. Running for JH Performance Boats and Captain Mark Seafood, number 69, Luke Brown.
All right, first-time winner.
Finishing in second, the 24 Clover Construction of Addie Love, and rounding out the field, the Bastrop Marina, sponsored entry number 36 of Jackson Cressy. Well, he's going to grab the checkered flag, get back on the gas, and ladies and gentlemen, he's going to make his way down the north end of the course here, right down the Riverfront Park. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner here in round number 4 in the Talent Cup with a checkered flag. And then let me hear you one more time. Put your hands together here in Marble Falls. Your winner of the Talent Cup, number 69, Mr. Luke Brown.
All right, we got Colton Shane coming over the finish line. What a great run by all of them. That's what we want to see. Nice, safe racing.
3 different winners in 3 different rounds. We're going to see. You know, the word on the street is they are close to having a few more of these Talent Cup boats ready for more rounds here on the later into the season. So by the end of 2026, we might have ourselves a nice little healthy class of talent boats moving into 2027. And I expect we will see continual growth in this class year over year here on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series.
Oh, we will for sure. And you know, this is all about them learning not only the sportsmanship, but powerboat racing and what's expected of you.
You know, it's funny, this morning I go down to the pits and I see Luke Brown down there with his grandfather, Glenn Matthews, just working. You know, they're checking over the motor. He's being very meticulous, which, you know, if Glenn Matthews is your grandfather, you better learn how to be meticulous, because he's one of the most meticulous people I know. But it's stuff like that his grandfather can impose on Luke. Check all the little things. Dot every I, cross every T. And boy, it paid off for him here in the Talent Cup finals here at the Battle on the Colorado, because everything was dialed in, everything ran perfectly and held together. What a wonderful run for Luke Brown. All right, well, now we're going to send things back down to the ramp as Pam is with our Formula Lights winner, the man they call the Tampa Terror, the 21, Jose Mendana. Pam, take it away.
Jose Mendana Jr., here we are at the dock over here, and you are the winner of your feature for this Sunday. How is it feeling for you right now?
Oh, it feels fantastic. We broke we popped the cherry with the new boat. That was a lot of fun. Heck of a race. Did not want that green-white checker. Jared was faster than us. We probably were actually a third, fourth place boat out there. Shelby maybe played defense the first quarter of the race, and then you know, I didn't really have anything to track down Brandon and Jake. Not sure what happened there. Saw them get together. Thought we won it there, and then we had to restart, and it was kind of just had to play a cat and mouse game there with Jared on the rolling restart to hold him off.
So your Sunday Fun Day, you had to work hard for it for this #1 position.
Yeah. I guess we were not a first place boat in that final, third or fourth, maybe even fifth. But circumstances fell in our favor, and I'll take it. Man, I drove my butt off. I was defense the entire time, but I got to thank my crew that was here, and we got to thank Mike Scott Plumman. They make all this happen.
But yeah, very ecstatic. All these second places we get in with the new boat. We got one for Mr. Hoffman.
Awesome. Well, congratulations once again on your feature win out here in Marble Falls. Congratulations to you. And this is Jose Mendana Jr. right here, your race winner. And let's go back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Pam. Yeah, the 21 of Mendana. Hey, I appreciate the honesty out of Mendana, but sometimes, like you said, it's better to be lucky than good.
Well, it's you make your own luck to some degree as well, because you have to put yourself in those positions, which Jose did. He fought hard. He made the passes up there. He got himself into third place at that time, and he had all kinds of pressure from Jared. So, and here's another thing. Jose gets the first win in that boat, which is new this season. He actually got it, second race?
Yeah, this is the third race. I think he brought it to Port Neches for round 2. So this is the third race in the boat. He was on the podium the first 2 times. Now he gets the top spot on the box. So I think many, many more checkered flags and trophies to go back to the Mendana Enterprises race shop in Tampa and Miami, Florida throughout the rest of this season. And come the end of the season, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw that 21 machine slugging it out in Miami for the win in the Formula Lights class come the end of the season.
Well, you know what? We got the wild and crazy tri-hulls coming up next. And I'm just kind of looking at the starting lineup, and it's the guys that I believe are at the top of the points. So you got Cole Wary is going to start in second, and then you got Neil Marsh starting on pole. That's going to be hard to beat right there.
That's going to be, I mean, to the limit from the drop of the flag between those two. And then Mason Rinker's not too far behind them there. He's third.
He's in third, and that's your top 3 in the points for the series.
No surprise. The top 3 points coming in are your top 3 in the starting order. And then in fourth, the 54 of Darren Ware, even though he didn't do all that well in qualifying heat number 3, finds himself on the outside of row 2. Pretty solid position to fight for a podium here in this tri-hull final, Tim.
And Mr. Lucky, Tanner Rinker, number 10.
He found a way to get up into the, hey,
start fifth.
Give me in the top 5.
That's right.
And
he'll make it happen for there.
And let me get after it. I got to give a big shout out to a great sponsor, Neil Marsh. We just saw him come by the screen. He's your pole sitter here in Tri-Hull. But big shout out to all the guys over at Farmers Home. They got a watch party going on back in Michigan. So hey, everybody back at Hemlock and everybody at Farmers Home. Hope you guys are enjoying it, and hopefully you guys are going to be real happy once this final's over, because your driver is on pole here for the battle on the Colorado, looking to bring some more hardware back north to the great state of Michigan as he runs hard here in Marble Falls for this tri-hull main event. There's the 93 of JB Jensen. JB at round 1, misses round 2 and 3. Now back here in round 4. Got a heat win yesterday in qualifying heat number 1.
Yeah, but he's starting right next to Tanner, so that's still a good position to be in. And then I was looking at Aaron Green, number 63, and he's gonna be on the inside of row 4.
Yeah, right there next to the 26 of Briston Sherman. So a top 7 start for the 63 of Green. He said he can run well out in clean water, and I think that's the biggest litmus test for a tri-hull driver. How do I know I've made it and I'm in that upper echelon of tri-hull driver? That's simply how well you drive through traffic. And once you can really find a way to drive through traffic, boy, it can get a lot better for you in trial. But right now, we're going to sit down for a first-time podium finisher, the 52 of Addison Dumfries, with Pam, your Formula Lights third-place finisher.
Addison Dumford, we are here at the dock. You're just getting text from post-tech of the race, but you are our third place for our feature out here for the Formula Lights. And give me a rundown of your race.
Well, went into it a little cautious because of wind and the waves. It's pretty bad out there. It was about 5 mile an hour more than yesterday. Added a little bit of weight to the front of the boat to help keep it down. But start of the race, just staying, got to keep our feet dry. Consistency's everything. So, it paid off, obviously. A couple boats dropped out, which bumped us up, and it's tough for them, battle all weekend. But I'm happy to be here and happy to be dry.
Well, let's talk about that. You did bring up the weather conditions and the wind today, and we talk about this with the other drivers, too. I mean, you guys have had to change up the way you do your trim and the way you do all of your driving. Yeah,
it makes it a lot more difficult. Got to really pay attention for me. And actually, about halfway through, my trim went out. and my boat stuffed it. And I was on my radio talking, like saying what's going on and stuff, but it came back thankfully. But yeah, trim is everything out there right now.
Yeah, well, good job, though. You're up here in this number 3 position for the feature for the weekend. Congratulations once again. This is Addison Dumford right here, your feature winner, or feature 3rd place for the Formula Lights. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Fanboy. Just cool, calm, and collected, kind of like most of the rinkers, right? They don't ever get too high. They don't ever get too low. He's a part of that larger rinker racing family. But Dumford, oh, there we go. Look at they are ready to go.
Mason, yeah. All right. But you know what? I bet that Addison's trim went out when Jose and Shelby came by him on both sides. Remember, he had a few laps where he just slowed way down.
Yeah, it was, we had mentioned even something in the race that something had to be wrong with the 52 of Dumford, but thankfully for him, the trim came back. He stayed out of the carnage that was happening out on the race course. And hey, sometimes just staying out of the way and running your race can have really good things. And for the kid who came in 3rd in points to finish 3rd here in the final, hey, he's in the conversation. It's going to be interesting to see what the rest of 2026 is going to have in store for the 52 of Dumford. Now we move back onto our lineup for the final here in Tri-Hall as the man they call the dude, the number 17, Neil Marsh. The man out of Hemlock, Michigan, running for Elite Technology, Best Automotive, Summit Plaster Tile, Timberwood Antiques Mall, and the great folks over at Farmers Home watching him come from pole. And then there's the 69 Nicole Waring Tim. He's right there on his outside hip. That's going to be a doozy in row 1.
It sure is. And then 3rd, we got Mason Rinker. So we got the top 3 in the series starting the top 3 in this event.
Then the wild card, Darren Ware. Boy, if he can somehow escape the Tri-Hall traffic jam in the opening turn and find clean water, he has shown that he is very difficult to catch.
Speed.
It's just getting in and out of the corners, been in his bugaboo this weekend. He starts on the outside of row 2.
Tanner Rinker, row 3. You know, he's dangerous.
I mean, he's won had more comeback victories here in the last 2 seasons than any other Tri-Hall driver. So if anybody can come from 5th to 1st, it's the 10 of Tanner Rinker on the inside of row 3. On the outside of row 3, the 93 of JB Jensen. On the inside of row 4, the 63 Rise-sponsored Rise Fitness of Aaron Green. Then it's the Ray Bob Seasoning Briston Sherman on the outside of row 4. And then rounding out the field, the 42 of Wyatt Zeller and that Pigpen Barbecue Hiccups Bar and Grill sponsored machine. The 80 to Josh Wells for Heavy Hands Racing. And our lone rookie, the 13 of Jared Shelton, still having to start on the final row of the 2x2 starting grid here in Tri-Halls. All right, well, it looks like they're going to do a hot lap quick here. And on that hot lap, just getting these motors revved up and ready to go. It's also going to allow them to trip by our timing system to make sure that they're all registered for timing this form Tri-Hall final.
It is, but you know what? Tri-Hall is the only class that likes to go out there and make the water rougher before they even start. Can you believe that?
I mean, hey, if it's going to be brutal, it might as well be brutal from the start.
Oh, no, it's too smooth out here. We need a hot lap so we can make it rougher.
Well, the bathtub will be in full effect here on the Colorado River. You can see the race hasn't even started, and we've got 2-foot rollers and waves coming off and banging off of the seawall back out into the river.
That's what they want.
It is going to be rough out here for the Tri-Hall 20-lap main event here on the shores of the Colorado River. Who's going to take it? Will it be your pole sitter, the 17 of Neil Marsh? Could it be your series points leader, the 69 of Cole Waring? Or could the wild card, Darren Ware, find his way to the top spot on the box for the first time in his career here in Tri-Halls on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series?
Well, you got the master of staying in lane 1 on pole on the inside. And right behind him, Mason Rinker at number 37. He's the guy that has greater corner entry than anybody other driver out there. So, and then you got Mullet, who's kept it nice and calm the whole time, kept the boat down in the water. So it's going to be a good race.
Oh, absolutely, it will be. And the 69 of Waring is like that outside line, so it's really going to be who can get in and out of that first turn between the 17 of Marsh and the 69 of Waring.
Everybody's in the spots they want to be.
Yeah, till the race starts.
Yeah.
and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, they're going to go way down the east end of the course underneath the 281 bridge. And once they make their way back the other way, back underneath the bridge, you're going to see the jet ski pull off. That's jet ski Jared, he's our pace jet ski and a part of the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series rescue team, the best rescue team in the business. And once he peels off, we're looking for that orange flag. We normally use a green flag, but because of the beautiful foliage and landscape here at Riverfront Park, we had to switch to an orange flag because they couldn't see it yesterday. So we got the orange flag out in the hands of Doug Ray, chief referee, and he's just waiting to drop that flag here and get underway with our 20-lap main event in Tri-Hull here on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series.
Look at those boats bouncing as they're just going half throttle on the way down here.
And all the wakes from when they went down the backside are going to be rolling on the front side as soon as they drop that orange flag to start this race. It's going to get rough from the jump here in Tri-Hull. Who's going to come out on top? Will it be the man on pole, the 17 of Neil Marsh? Could it be the series leader, the 69 of Cole Waring? Could Mason Rinker get back up on top here in Tri-Hull and squeeze the points leader? There we go. Orange flag is dropped, and we are underway. And boy, what a great jump there by the 17 of Neil Marsh. He kept it real flat, Tim. Good attitude going into turn one, but the 37 of Rinker's right on the tail of the 69 of Waring, trying to push him out of the way. And here comes the 10 of Tanner Rinker, tight down to the inside.
It looked like Cole tried to go underneath Neil, and it kind of backfired on him.
Yeah, but the 10 of Tanner Rinker, I think he probably had the best turn there. He went from fifth. Now he's up fighting for fourth with his brother, the 37 of Mason Rinker, so already moving up one spot. And now he's coming up on the 69 of Waring. Yeah, sorry, fighting for third. But boy, Neil Marsh out in front. That's a tough place for everybody else when the 17 is out in front with that clean water in hand.
Well, Neil took a real wide entry into that corner, so he didn't have to turn it very sharp.
And just because he can enter tight to the pin doesn't mean he's going to leave tight to the pin, because he's trying to keep those RPMs up, because you cannot afford to lose a ton of RPMs bogging that motor down to the corner.
Look how wide he's going. He is staying really wide so he doesn't turn it, because last time in Shreveport, he was out front, turned it sharp, and about put himself on his head and cost him the race win.
Well, now the battle's going to set in between these two. I don't expect Waring to go anywhere anytime soon, as they've started to pull away a little bit from the brothers Rinker, who sit down there in third and fourth, the 37 of Mason and the 10 of Tanner Rinker, fighting hard down the backstretch.
Number 54, Darren Ware, he is still in the hunt right now, running in fifth spot.
As they go down the far end of the east end of the course. Now, Mason's been able to, looks like he's been able to get out of the turns a little bit better, but you can tell Tanner's maybe got a little bit more top end over the 37 machine, but he just runs out of real estate before the next corner.
Well, if I'm number 69, Cole, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay close. I'm going to put pressure on Neil, because right now Neil doesn't even have to go and turn on the pins, and I'm going to wait until we get in lap traffic.
Absolutely, and I think Waring also knows coming into this race weekend, right, he had a 76 or 86 point lead over the 17 of Neil Marsh, who came in sitting in third, not in second. So again, just like the 01 of McKee, which ended up backfiring for him in that final lap of Formula Lights final, Cole Waring would love to win and get his third race win in a row here at the Battle on the Colorado. But if second place is what was to be here today, I think Cole would much rather focus on running a good, safe race and collecting quality points than pushing it over the limit, maybe ended up on his head or shuffled back a few spots, because he knows those two brothers are going to battle each other so hard that he'll be able to create a nice cushion between them and himself sitting in second.
Well, it's a tough spot where Mason and Tanner are right now, because Mason normally would drop down to the buoy and take that lane away. Since it's his brother, I think he's given him a little more latitude and a little more room than normal.
Well, I think also Mason realizes that the pin-to-pin format that he normally adheres to isn't necessarily the best way to go about it here on the Colorado River, because everybody seems to be liking that wide line out of 4. But boy, we say that, and Mason Rinker squirts it out coming out of 2. Might have slipped a little ground there. And then, boy, if the 10 of Tanner Rinker can get up nose to nose with the 37 of Mason Rinker, he might be in trouble.
He will. But now we're starting to come into some back markers. So we're going to see how that plays out for the leaders.
As the 17 of Neil Marsh starts to make his way up. And oh no, 10 of Tanner Rinker dead in the water down to the far end of the course. The 10 of Tanner Rinker is out here in the Tri-Hull final down in turn number 3
He got
and
it
4.
started. He got it started.
Boy, I wonder what he rattled loose there as this water really starts to churn itself up. This bathtub on the shores of the Colorado River. But now Mason Rinker's got some clean water. Now he's got to put his sights dead on the 69, Nicole Weary.
Well, hopefully Tanner doesn't get into the race line and we don't have to stop the race. Because then, no matter how big of a lead Neil has, that'll go away.
And there's the 54 of Darren Ware. He's sitting up there in 4th position, trying to find a way to catch the 37 of Mason Rinker. He moves up 1 spot after the 10 of Tanner Rinker went out on the previous lap. They're starting to get into those back markers a little bit, and that's going to be interesting to see. Can Caddy get himself on the podium for the first time in 2026? It's been a while since the Darren Ware has seen anywhere near a podium in a final. Would be great to see him bring some hardware back to the greater Houston area, but that's a tall order to get by the 37 of Mason Rinker as he really starts to separate.
He's got his work cut out for him.
Yeah, he does. And they all have their work cut out for him, because trying to get around Neil Marsh, especially once you start having to weave through traffic, because he is the traffic specialist, is going to be a tall order for anybody to get by the man who's out in front. He's won 3 series titles in the last 4 years. They call him the dude for a reason, and he is just duding it up out in front here in the Tri-Hall final.
Well, you know, the thing about it is these guys, Zoller, and Neil's coming up on Zoller, and who is it? Is that Josh?
Yeah, the 88 of Josh Wells. Him and Zeller have been doing battle.
But they're racing for position, so they don't have to get out of Neil's way and make room for him. So these guys are racing for position. They're allowed to keep racing for position. So Neil's just going to have to come up and pass him.
Yeah, and he's going to have to try to find that line that might force him outside his line that he has found he really likes here on the Colorado River. But he decides instead of going wide to the outside, he's going to go down to the inside and look at Zeller.
Oh, wow.
All over the place.
He took a heck of a bounce there, and it's slowing Neil down a little bit. Neil's ducking to the inside out of 2. And that allows Mullet to catch up a little bit in the number 69.
And there you see the 17 of Neil Marsh and that beautiful design on the bottom bow of that 17 machine. As he comes running down the front straight, now he's side by side with Zeller. That's it. 42 of Zeller running for Pigpen Barbecue. Hiccups Bar and Grill and Tech Line here with the battle on the Colorado. He gets by him, but now he's got to get by the 26 of Briston Sherman, and that's not going to be easy either, especially considering Sherman is teammates with the guy that's behind Neil, the 69 of Cole Waring. Might see some inadvertent blocking out there by some teammates' help. We'll see. Who knows?
He got on the inside. Briston left him plenty of room. You know, and that's where Neil wants to go anyway. He wants to go tight on the pin.
Boy, is it getting rough out there. The waves are splashing over the seawall here on the north shore of the Colorado River as it really starts to churn up down here as we are through just over the halfway point with 8 laps remaining here in this Tri-Hall final at the battle on the Colorado round 4 of the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series.
We still got Tanner Rinker out there in the middle. He is not on the race line at the moment. So
no, he's just out there getting seasick.
Doug Ray is still allowing the racing to continue, but should he get in the race line, you're going to see a stoppage.
And that's not what Neil Marsh wants. He's got a nice lead right now. He's been able to navigate through traffic, and the last thing he wants to see is have that lead disappear and the 69 of Cole Waring be right on his outside hip.
That's right, but I just see Tanner got it started and moved a little bit, so that's good. Hopefully he can stay in there and we can get this race finished off.
As our leaders continue down to the east end of the course and out of turn number 2, Neil Marsh now coming back around to cross the start-finish line one more time as we now have 7 laps remaining. Once he crosses the start-finish line, will the 69 of Cole Waring find a way to catch up to the 17 of Neil Marsh? Because now he's getting to some of those back markers a little bit faster. Look at there, Clint Dillard skipping way wide to the outside. That KLD racing machine had been all over the map. Had a rough weekend in Shreveport as he got together with the 63 of Aaron Green, running a little bit better this week race here in Marble Falls, but still a little bit off the pace is the 56 of Clint Dillard, the driver out of Rosenberg, Texas.
Well, this thing's winding down, but the only thing that hasn't calmed down is the water.
No, it's still, and you can see that bathtub effect where there's really no rhythm to the waves like you would see coming off the wake and dissipating on the shore, because those waves are hitting that concrete wall here on the north shore of the river and sent right back onto the race course. and it is making it extremely rough out there. And you can see it, Tim, the 17 of Neil Marsh, that gap between him and the 69 of Waring is shortening. Will there be enough time for the man from Rosenberg, Texas, in that Walker Engineering Burnshausen oil machine to catch our leader, the 17 of Neil Marsh, as we follow along with the 69 of Waring coming out of turn number 2, trying to find some clean water?
I think Neil is just controlling the race right now. I don't think he's in a hurry. He knows he's coming up on back markers, so he doesn't want to take any chances, but he's trying to go on the inside of Ottinger, and Ottinger loves to be near or on the buoys.
And he does leave him a little bit of room there so Neil Marsh can squirt by as they go side by side. That's the 33 of Ottinger and that John Deere Green Lone Star Stand and Gravel, Lone Star Garden Center sponsored machine. But boy, the 17 of Marsh is able to get by him as they go down to the far end of the course, and it's just Cole Waring trying to find a way to get by the 17 of Neil Marsh. I don't know if he's going to have an answer. We're down to 5 laps left here in this tri-hole final.
I don't know. Neil got back on it, so maybe he was just getting held up by lappers.
Well, the 69 of Waring puts it down tight into turn 1, forcing the 33 of Ottinger wide to the outside. Nice move there by the 69 of Waring. He's got to keep pace with the 17 of Neil Marsh if he's going to have an opportunity to try to fight for the win here in this tri-hole final. It is all Neil Marsh's race to lose right now as he got out early from the pole, as he douses down one of the back markers as he gets by.
Is that JB?
The 93 of JB Jensen. Yes, sir, it is.
But he's got some open water now, though.
Yeah, we've got 4 laps to go. Open water plus 4 laps is a beautiful place if you're the 17 of Neil Marsh, as he continues to see that black, purple, and lime green 69 of Cole Waring in his rearview mirrors, trying to stay with him here as we wind down the final in Tri-Hull here at the Battle on the Colorado.
Mason Rinker in the 37 just has not been able to make any headway on those two.
No, he's not. It's so rough out there. It's so hard to find top-end speed. Everybody's going a little slower in the corners because of how rough the conditions are out here on the Colorado River. And the 69, I'm wearing the man with the pit fiber goggles, looking to run it all the way to a podium finish here for the 3rd straight race in a row. Can he pull it off here and hang on to second? Will he be able to catch the 17 of Neil Marsh? Only time will tell here with 2 laps remaining in this tri-hole final.
White flag's getting ready to come out. Neil's got the race at hand right now.
He really does, and he's been here so many times, Tim. It's like reading the paper on a Tuesday morning. It's just a routine for him. He knows, he has so much muscle memory on what to do when he gets out in front, and boy, it's showing here in this tri-hole final, because he has never given Cole Waring really even an opportunity to sniff at a chance to pass him here on this tri-hole course.
White flag coming out. Neil's got 1 more lap. Cole dives to the inside, last dish effort, but
he's trying.
I don't know.
It's just
too little, too late.
He needed Neil Marsh to make a mistake, and one thing that Neil Marsh doesn't make very many is mistakes, and he's running an absolutely flawless race as they go into the final turn of this tri-hole final here at the Battle on the Colorado, coming out of turn number 2 with that bow wave into the crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner at the Battle on the Colorado in 2026 out of Hemlock, Michigan, running for Farmers Home, Elite Technology, Best Automotive, Summit Plaster and Tile, and Timberwood Antique Mall, your winner number 17, Mr. Neil Marsh.
Wow, what a great run. You know, he made a couple mistakes in Shreveport today, never put a foot wrong.
And that's what, you know, a champion is not infallible. They will make mistakes, but the one thing you see from champions is how they learn from that mistake and they don't repeat it.
Yep, bounce back.
But hey, a solid run for the 69 of Cole Waring. He's going to leave round 4 knowing, Tim, he's still got a nice cushion. It wasn't as big as it was when he came here, but he's still got a nice cushion over the 17 of Neil Marsh when they head to Alton next here mid-July.
Well, Mason Rinker in the 37, Neil Marsh, they're going to be really close on points now.
Yeah, I mean, they came in only separated by 36 points. Marsh is going to grow that lead but those points are going to be flipped. You're going to see Neil Marsh coming up into second, and then probably Mason Rinker going to be bumped back down to 3rd in the season standings. But hey, a 2.2 second win for the 17 of Neil Marsh. boy, Waring tried everything he could, just didn't have an answer.
No, and nobody had an answer for Neil today.
You know what? When you start on pole and you don't make mistakes, it's pretty hard to give anybody the opportunity to come get you. And that's what he did today.
Mason rounded out the top 3, so he's on the podium, which he needed to do. Wasn't the greatest weekend for him, but...
How about Darren Ware, his best finish of the season? He comes in 4th, and the 63 of Aaron Green, and his best finals finish with a top 5 for the man out of Ector, Texas, running for Rise Fitness.
Well, you heard from Aaron earlier, and he talked about the consistency that he's able to have now where he didn't have that last year.
No, he did not. It was a feat for him just to finish a weekend of racing here. Now he finds himself fighting for top 5 finishes. Behind him, the 33 of John Ottinger in 6th, the 77, the 93 of J.B. Jensen in 7th, and then the 56 of Clint Dillard in 8th, 26 of Briston Sherman. Has not been the same since Port Neches. I don't know what he's going to have to do in rounding out the field. The 88 of Josh Wells, the 13 of Jared Shelton, and the 10 of Tanner Rinkert was in good position to fight for a podium. But the gremlins and the frustrations of 2026 continue for the driver out of Spring, Texas. The 10 of Tanner Rinkert rounding out the field, finishing in 13th position. All right, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, let me hear you put your hands together. Your winner here in Tri-Hall at the Battle on the Colorado in Marble Falls, Texas, number 17, the dude, Mr. Neil Marsh. All right, Tim, well, you know what that means.
You got time to go buy some merchandise right at the IHRA.
The big giant blow-up logo.
Well, I don't see it.
Oh, it's up there. It's behind the tree.
Oh,
the
nice.
Big IHRA logo. Go say hi to Debbie. They got all sorts of great
Debbie,
stuff.
Yeah, I
like
thought,
20 different styles of
down.
hats. A bunch of hoodies for those Texas folk that might think this is a little too cold outside for June. They got sweatshirts up there. They got the Battle on the Colorado race shirts up there.
Official event shirt. We got hot dogs.
And we've got the driver's autograph session before the award ceremony, so make sure you find yourself a pen or a Sharpie as well. That autograph session going to be right in front of the pavilion here, right next to the pool, right here at the Riverfront Park. So right up the hill from where we are, right down at the river. We're going to have on the terrace. We're going to have a driver's autograph session before we give away the well-deserved hardware, and that man right there is going to be collecting the biggest trophy in the Tri-Hall class, the 17 of Neil Marsh, your winner. What a great run, wire to wire for the man from Michigan.
Well, don't go anywhere because we got the big boys coming out next.
Yes, we do. One final race on the weekend to put a bow on it in the Formula One class. Boy, it's been up and down. Spencer Love's had some good runs. Jared Jensen's had some good runs. We've saw drivers out front and have motors go away. All sorts of action in Formula One, and it all comes down to this: who is going to call themselves the Battle on the Colorado champion here for round 4 on the 2026 season.
Wow, it's going to be good because I believe your number 24 is on pole with number 17 next to him, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's not a place that anybody wants to see. But right now, we're going to send things down to Pam as she's in the pits with the Talent Cup winner, the number 69 of Luke Brown, his first win in his young career. Pam?
Luke Brown, you are the winner of our Talent Cup out here this weekend in Marble Falls. Luke, I want you to tell me, how does it feel to be the winner?
It feels good to get your first win, and I look forward to going to the pits and just having fun.
All right, so you're going to go celebrate with your other friends that you were out there racing with, or you got your team over there that's going to wait and celebrate with you?
A little bit of both. Mullet was pretty excited that I won, so he's going to be really happy. And I'm going to hang out with the other GT15 drivers too.
Well, Luke, congratulations once again, and that is your first win, so congratulations out there on that Talent Cup.
Thank you.
All right, I think we're going to see many more wins from this kid here in the future. So there we have Luke Brown, our Talent Cup winner.
All right, thanks, Pam. Luke Brown, there we go. Thumbs up from the young driver out of Richmond, Texas. I will say, Tim, not only has the driving gotten better in 2 weeks, the interviews have gotten much better as well. Those deer in headlights from the opening round in Port Neches and even into round 2, but the kids are starting to get figured out, and just like learning how to trim the boat, just learning how to set up the boat, you got to learn what to do when they stick a microphone in your face after a big win, just like that. The 69 of Luke Brown, first win of his career.
That's awesome. I love the racing. I love the interviews. It's fun to hang out with them because they all got a little bit different take on it, but I will tell you something about that young man. All he wants to do is drive anything with a motor.
I mean, I think last year at this race, before we had the Talent Cup, Luke put something like 150 miles on a little pit dirt bike in one weekend. If that doesn't tell you the kid was itching to get out there on the water, I don't know what will.
That's
but right now
right.
we're going to send things down back to the pits as Pam is with second place finisher Jared Wallach. Pam?
Tech, you're tearing your engine apart, but you are our number 2 winner for our our Formula Light class. And I want you to tell me, out there on that course today, how was it for you?
We started on the second flag, so had our, the odds stacked against us. But, I got a great team with the Petersons, Latitude, the whole family behind us. And so we were able to get it ready for the final. Struggled a little bit throughout the weekend, but we just needed an opportunity, and that's what they gave us. The rough water works for us pretty well, and so able to capitalize and just slowly start picking them off.
Well, let me talk about that with you too, because some drivers, they like the smooth waters better. You're saying the rough waters work well with you. So what is it that makes the rough water work so well with you and your boat?
Mulgard's just a great hole. We got great support with them overseas, and and honestly, just all the teams throughout here, we all help each other as well. So it just fits, the boat, fits my driving style, and it all came together today. And we were one short, but we'll take it. Starting 11th to P2 is no laughing matter. So we're happy to bring some hardware back home.
Well, and I have to ask you one more thing. We're over here and we're in post-tech. I'm watching you over there work on your engine. What is it that they were teching for you?
They'll look at the carbs, and then we'll pull heads, and then they do a great job checking everything, making sure we're all legal and online. It's a very competitive class, and and that's pretty much stock for the most part. So just little things, but we'll tear it down, get it ready, and we'll be up there for the next one.
Awesome. Well, congratulations once again on P2. We'll see you at the next one. This is right here, Jared Wallach. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Jared Wallach, in my mind, based on some of his interactions with some of our interviews, I got a new nickname for the 69 of Jared Wallach. We're going to start calling him Ricky Bobby. He just is very much infatuated with that movie character. Doesn't necessarily fit the personality of the human being you meet right up. But once you get to know him a little better, he's out there. Hey, if you ain't first, you're last. He's always pushing it to the limit. But boy, 2 races here in 2026, 2 podium finishes. It'd be nice to, what could be if Jared Wallach would have been able to make the Bradenton race where they were still getting that boat together after a big wreck at Kankakee, Illinois last year. Or if he could have made it to round 3 at the Red River Rumble in Shreveport. But two races, 2 podiums. The Peterson Racing family's got to be pretty ecstatic with the driving skills of the 69 of Jared Wallach, their hired gun here in 2026.
He's a talented driver, comes from a racing family, so, he did a great job this weekend. And what he was referring to is what are they teching? So this is a super stock class, so you're not allowed to port it. It's got to be as manufactured.
So everything is pretty stock on the motor, so they're just checking to make sure that that's all going to fit the stock specifications. Well, right now, we're going to sing things down to Pam because she's with the tri-hole winner, the dude, Mr. Neil Marsh, is with Pam down in the pits. Take it away.
Neil Marsh, here we are at the finish line over here in the tri-holes. You are the number 1 person for the weekend. How are you feeling?
I tell you what, first thing you got to do is beat the Colorado River, right? It's the battle on it. These guys, a ton of competition out there, but that river, he's got something on the rest of us. You got to go through 4-foot rollers down that front stretch, and the wind's kicking our butt with the seawall and everything. it's pretty challenging.
I can say you are super pumped when you're walking over here. You have a huge smile on your face. So out there, you just kind of told us what you endured. But all in all, I mean, how are you feeling?
I am super pumped. We've been through some stuff. The last 3 races, we really had to fight for this. It's not easy. You never know when you get back in the top box. And we left one on the table last week. Had a fluke deal, bad corner, and luckily stay on the podium. But like I say, we like to be on top. We worked our butts off. Sam, Brian, dude, you guys are amazing. Kicked ass. My wife, my family, everybody at home, we've been busting butts. All we do is be boat racing the last 6-8 weeks, and it's like, all right, need some family time here, but it's coming up, guys. We'll be all good. So I love you guys.
All right, well, once again, congratulations. I love your energy. You bring it to this pits as well, so congratulations once again.
Yeah, I can't say enough for the city of Marble Falls, the F1 Powerboat IHRA series. But we're having fun. It's a great season. We got lots of good stuff to come.
All right, and there we have it. Neil Marsh, our #1 out here for our tri-holes this weekend. Congratulations.
Here she comes.
Well, wait, the shortest interview in Neil Marsh's career.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you know, it's funny. He goes, hey, we got family time. Well, family time for boat racers is when you come to a boat race.
Right. Because when you're at home, you don't get family time because you're working on the boat, getting ready for the next boat race.
That's right. Life gets in the way.
Yeah, it does. But boy, what a great run there it was for Neil Marsh. And he needed it. You know, I think he was struggling a little bit, frustrated because he's been so used to winning for so many years, but he's back on top of it. And here we're going to come up now with the man Cole Waring took second and your points leader here in Tri-Hall. Pam, take it away.
Here with Mullet at the finish line as well, over here actually at the dock where we take the boats off the water, but you are #2 for the tri-hole. So Mullet, great weekend for you.
Yeah, it turned out all right. You know, my second heat, I didn't really have that great of a heat, and I was a little worried coming into today. And, you know, I got a really good start in the third heat, ended up second place, which, you know, got me a start to second in the final. And I'll tell you what, that was the roughest tri-hole final I've ever ran in my life. I've absolutely got beat to hell. But, I mean, it turned out all right. Really excited for Neil. He had to have his boat worked on, so, you know, we were wondering if he was going to be the same, if not a little worse. And it turned out I think he's a little better now, but got close to him a couple times, but I just couldn't get it done. But it was a good day. I'm happy with it.
Awesome. Well, it's awesome to see you up here, and I get to actually talk to you. I've heard all about you this whole entire weekend, so congratulations once again on getting that #2 position.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, and there we have it, Mr. Mullet right here, our #2 tri-hole.
Well, the question is it good or bad, right? When she was hearing everything about Mullet. I mean, but a fan favorite in the tri-hole class.
Mr. Mullet.
That's what we're going to start calling him, Mr. Mullet. We got to be, you know, what were those little cartoon characters from the 80s? They had the little, you know, they were Mr. and Mrs., and they were very simply drawn characters. We got to find one for Mullet, put a mullet wig on it, have a new logo for the man from Rosenberg, Texas, running for Walker Engineering and Burtonshausen Oil. Great run there for second. And he keeps the points lead, which I think if you could ask Mullet coming into round 4, you could win or you could hold on to the point series lead. I think he would trade that win at this race to continue a nice lead in point series.
Well, especially when it's that rough.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was rough on this guy too, but he finished in third. Pam's with the 37 of Mason Rinker. Pam?
Mason Rinker, our #3 for tri-hole. This weekend, you were battling your motor mount and getting it fixed, but you know what? You're fixed. You're here, third place for the day.
Yeah, we got it fixed, and it took some blows out there, so we did a good job, I guess. Got out there, third place. We'll take it. A couple more laps, might have been able to catch them, but you know, it is what it is. That was the roughest race that I've ever been a part of. I was glad it was over.
You know, I have to say, Mullet said that was a pretty rough race as well, but I mean, do you think the wind was obviously a factor for making it rougher, but all in all, what else would it have been?
Wind, current, and the bulkheads. The bulkheads are terrible. They just bounce the waves right back into you. They don't flatten out like a beach would. And you saw it out there. I mean, I couldn't keep the boat in the water. I was trimmed all the way down, and it was still flying. So not much you can do about it. You just got to sit in there and get through it.
You got to adjust your driving skills for the water conditions.
That is a fact, 100%. The driving I did today in that final was way different than I did this morning and even yesterday. The water conditions have just gotten completely out of hand. But we kept it upright, kept it in third, so we'll take it.
Awesome. Well, congratulations once again on a very great weekend for you, getting it all fixed up and here in this #3 position.
Thank you.
And there we have it, Mr. Mason Rinker right there, #3 for our tri-hole.
All right, well, top 3 of the season standings, top 3 here on the box in Marble Falls. It's kind of what you expect when you get into the middle part of a season. You'll see some of those that have had, whether it's great preparation, great setup, maybe a little bit of luck as well. But once you get into the meat of the season, it's amazing to me, Tim, how you see those top drivers seem to find their way to get to
find
the
a
top.
way to do it.
Yeah, just
they find
somehow,
a way to
some
do
way.
it. Good teams find a way to win. You know, they find a way to run up front. And what Mason said for sure is you've got the seawall on this front side, and the waves don't have a natural shoreline to dissipate. Even on the other side, you can see that it's almost like a rock ledge over there.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, the banks on either side of the river are pretty steep here. I mean, being in the hill country of Texas, you're not going to have a small, gradual shoreline anywhere, but it makes it much worse when there's bulkheads. That's for sure. It does,
but, you know, we got the Formula One guys coming out. Look who's on pole right now.
Yeah, the 24 of Spencer Love finds himself on pole position here for the Formula One final. What a run it has been here in 2026. I would say he's back in form, but he's got the likes of Dylan Anderson, Jared Jensen, 52 of Chris Rinker, all right behind him stacked up. You see there Jensen. How about Jensen? Barrel rolling in Heat 2, but does well enough in Heats 1 and 3 that finds himself coming second off the start dock here in the final.
Well, we were talking about this earlier. That third heat, that's the equalizer.
Yeah.
Guess what? 029 won that heat.
Yeah, he did. You know, Aiden Benton probably deserved to win that, but hey, you got to keep the boat running if you want to finish the race and come out on top. He wasn't able to do that. And the 29 of Jared Jensen in the lucky dog spot, able to grab that win and move himself ahead of the 52 of Rinker and the 17 of Anderson. And boy, Tim, I think it's all going to be about the start. And the hardest thing for everybody else is they all know that Firefly Aerospace number 24 of Spencer Love is probably the best at dock starts on the IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series.
Right as we get ready, the wind just kicked up about another 5 miles an hour on top of it. It is really blowing at this point.
And it is going to be rough out there for all these drivers. And it's going to be, Tim, it's really going to be about who can keep it flat and level here, because they're going to be fighting the trim. I suspect you're probably going to see maybe less trim used by a lot of drivers, especially down the front straightaway. They just don't need it because the wind's going to be doing all the trimming for them.
Yeah, you can't use it. I mean, if
you can.
If you get the boat, the front of the boat up too high, and you go around this dog leg, that wind is just going to pick that entire boat up and can blow over backwards. So they've really got to watch the wind. Going into 1 and 2 down here, you can see how the water is really, the wind is affecting the water. So what these drivers will do when it's that rough is they'll set the boat a hair early. So that way when they get to the corner, the boat is not bouncing at all. So you take that out of it by setting it early, and that can keep you in your lane.
We'll have to see how that pans out, because, boy, even when you look at the west end of the course versus the east end of the course, where the river kind of bends itself a little bit, the water looks different at one end of the course to the other. It'd be interesting to how this higher elevated wind is going to play a factor, because, I mean, 1 and 2 was already rough, and it's just getting rougher as this wind stays up. It looks like we're coming up on the 1 minute gun. Tim, let's crown a champion here in Marble Falls. 1 minute drivers. 1 minute. He's your series points leader, running for Firefly Aerospace. He's on the pole. Can he go wire to wire and win here again in 2026, the 24 Spencer Love? 50 seconds, drivers, 50 seconds. Or will Jared Jensen find another way onto the podium as they're 1 and 2 in points coming into round number 4? Will he get the win and tighten up the gap? 40 seconds, drivers, 40 seconds. The 52 of Chris Rinker. He's top 4 in points coming in. He's third off the start pontoon. He's going to need his best start of the weekend. Can he pull it off? 30 seconds, drivers, 30 seconds. Then you got the 17 of Dylan Anderson, the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo, the 9 of Jonathan Fleming, and the rest of the field here in Formula One. Let's crown a champion of the Battle of the Colorado in Formula One. 20 seconds, drivers. You're under starters' orders.
Oh, Jensen and Love get great starts.
That looks like, oh boy, Love has got it absolutely trimmed out to the moon, because some good mid-range there trying to catch the 29 of Jensen as they try to hold clear. Everybody comes through clear off turns 3 and 4.
Leave them room. Look at on the outside, Dylan Anderson. Excellent start from what, fifth position?
Yeah, he was the last boat in the first gate there, Tim, and he's all the way up fighting for second position as him and Jensen are going at it, coming out of turn 2.
I didn't even see 52 of Chris Rinker on the inside because they were so piled up.
Oh, and look at him pull the top end as the 17 of Anderson and the 52 of Rinker just blowing by the 29 of Jensen, who's in that third motor, so maybe just not quite as dialed on the top end as that third motor. And boy, the 52 of Rinker and the 17 Anderson get by him coming down the back straightaway.
Number 24, Spencer Love, fantastic start. He got out front, which is what he wanted to do. Now he'll try and control the race. But guess what? 17 behind you. The fastest 2 qualifiers are behind you.
Yeah, so you got to watch out. He knows the rough water is probably going to pull a little bit away from that top end speed, but that doesn't mean he doesn't need to run a flawless race out in front. It's good to see the 24 of Spencer Love, that Firefly Aerospace machine, back out leading more races here in 2026. Could be this the year that he gets back on top of the series championship, his first fight for it since 2022 when he last was the series champion in F1.
Well, he's running good right now. He's controlling the race. The race is really behind him, okay? So 17, Dylan Anderson, Chris Rinker. You're going to see these guys bunch up a little bit, but then you've got teammates Jeremiah Mayo and Grant Schubert going head-to-head back there on the back straightaway.
Right there fighting for 5th and 6th, and 7th is Maskell, 8th the 9 of Fleming, 9th the 34 of Reno, then it's the 98s and the 98 of Aiden Benton, who got that motor back together, but I don't know if it's running at full capacity. He's out here just trying to collect some points and finish the weekend on a high note.
You know, the 22 of Kyle Maskell out there, I didn't think he was going to be able to make the final. His steering broke in that collision with Tate.
Yeah, and that's the one driver that is still on the trailer. We do not see the 14 of Andrew Tate. His weekend is done after that collision with the 22 of Maskell. Boy, it's been a rough couple of races for the number 14 boat, hasn't it, Tim?
It has. They just, they're struggling. I talked to them last night with the balance on the boat, and they can't just figure out what they need to do. Yeah, so right now they're a little lost.
I talked to him this morning. He's like, we'll go out and do stuff by ourselves in testing, and it'll work. But the problem is you're not going to get near those same conditions when you're out there racing. And when they try to make that translation, that's where things really start to struggle for that Phenom Ventures team.
It does. I have unfortunately done that 1,000 times.
You just got to keep at the grind, keep fighting. That's what the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo is doing right now as he's sitting in 6th, but they're all trying to catch the man out in front right there on screen now. The 24 of Spencer Love running for Firefly Aerospace as he's pushing it hard down the front stretch, really started to open up a nice lead. Tim, I think we're in that kind of lull period where we're going to see those gaps grow over the top 3 boats, but once we get into those back markers, we'll see those things shrink up, and boy, I have a feeling the last 5-6 laps in this Formula 1 final going to be a doozy.
So Jeremiah Mayo is trying to run an outside line up this front straightaway and on the back straightaway. So I think he's got a little bit of speed on Jared in the 29, but Jared's got the inside line.
Yeah, they're battling hard for 4th place. You can see there, Jensen on the inside, and boy, he's good job there, Jensen. He made him cross his way by going back out to the outside. That's what he's going to have to do for the rest of the race to keep the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo at bay.
I think if Jeremiah in the number 8 boat stays on his outside hip, that's how he's going to get around him. Don't try and cross over his wake back and forth. Just stay on his outside hip. You got a little speed, just wait. Be patient.
You got to squeeze that gap inch by inch over the remaining laps. You can't expect to get big chunks of it back, but little by little, as you can reel them in, you give that opportunity with a few laps left. That's all you can ask for.
That's right. But guess what? If he waits too long, number 13, his teammate Grant Schubert, is going to come up in the Captain Marks machine, and he's going to show him how to do it.
Well, and I think that's because Grant knows, hey guys, I would have been way higher on the starting grid if I would have just fired in qualifying heat number 3. He got a DNS, 0 points in heat 3. That's what started him way far back on the start pontoon. I have a feeling this final could look a little bit different, so you know that kid from Richmond, Texas is going to be pushing it to the limit.
Spencer's running a conservative line. He's going up lane 1 or 2. He's setting it at the bend buoy of the dog leg, and he's just not taking any chances because guess what? He doesn't have to.
No, he's built up a good lead as he gets by the 98 of Aiden Benton and puts him a lap down. especially as he gets through these back markers. He knows that maybe the extra top end that Anderson and Rinker had in fast lap qualifiers on this race course, that doesn't exist anymore.
Today, exactly. Right now, that doesn't exist. Look at Dylan Anderson in second, the number 17 boat. He wasn't running it that flat all weekend, and that scrubs off a lot of speed.
Yeah, it does. I have a feeling if we opened up the hatches on either spots and in the front nose of those Formula Ones, you'd see some extra weight put in those noses to try to keep those boats flatter here on this rough water on the Colorado River. But boy, that battle for third, fourth, fifth, sixth is continuing to push as the 8 of Jeremiah Mayle is still trying to hunt down the driver from Colorado sitting in fourth at 29 at Jared Jensen.
Well, this is a good race for fourth. Jared Jensen, Jeremiah Mayo in the 8, Grant Schubert in the 13, and Kyle Maskell is climbing, he's clawing his way into that.
Yeah, and there's the 13 of Schubert. Looks like, oh, his lid is coming open on the 13, Captain Marks. Grant Schubert does not have that latch snapped down. I don't know if that's going to cause a break in concentration as that thing's banging around out there, because, yeah, you can definitely see, Tim, the 22 of Maskell is starting to close the gap on the 13 of Schubert. Not too bad considering, just like Schubert, he was way back on the dock because he couldn't get the steering running after that wreck with the 14 of Andrew Tate in the final qualifying heat.
You're starting to see number 52, Chris Rinker.
He's making up ground.
He's making some ground up on number 17, Dylan Anderson.
Oh, look at him go down to the inside. No, he decides to go over the wake and now goes wide to the outside. There you see overhead the 52 of Rinker. Yeah, that battle for fourth, 8 of Mayo and the 13 of Schubert starting to get into the conversation. Jared Jensen holding him at bay for now. I would imagine for Jensen in his third motor, it's like, listen, hey, don't be too risky. Let's just get some good points, get to Alton, get our number 1 motor back. We'll send them back to Ron Anderson to get refreshed here between rounds 4 and rounds 5. But boy, I give the kid a lot of credit. It's hard, especially for young drivers, to wreck like he did yesterday, barrel roll, and come back out and still push it to the limit.
Rinker's using that outside high-low move to try and make ground up on Dylan Anderson in second place.
And
so it doesn't work as well in 3 and 4, but it sure works in 1 and 2 down there.
Yeah, they're down to 1.2 seconds between the 17 of Anderson and the 52 of Rinker. So that's going to be a battle we're probably going to see all day long.
Something happened to Spencer. Spencer's motor's not running right, the number 24.
Oh, no. It started to slow down a little bit.
You could hear it when he came by. Look at the ground they made up on him.
Yeah.
And look at the rooster tail. Nope.
Oh, looks like he might be down a cylinder. Oh, no, the 24 of Spencer Love pulling off the course. The Firefly Aerospace machine that was out in front has pulled off the course. We've got a new leader, the 17 of Dylan Anderson, now out in front. Now that battle between him and Rinker is going to be on.
Every class today that has happened. Every class.
Is that, I mean, when it gets rough out there, I mean, I can appreciate that all sorts of things can get rattled loose, motor included.
Jumping in and out of the water, the motor spins up, you're jumping back in the water, puts the load back on it. That's when you start breaking stuff. Crankshafts, flywheels, connecting rods.
Well, it looks like, oh boy, he's going to be bringing that back and putting it on the trailer. Frustrated, boy, just not necessarily the weekend for the Clover team between McKee, Love. Addie's the only one who finished on the box here for the Clover construction team. Got to be a frustrating weekend, as good as it's been so far in 26. Hey, we're all going to have bad weekends. But now the 17 of Dylan Anderson's out in front, followed by the 52 of Chris Rinker, who's on his tail, and the 29 of Jared Jensen finding himself back on the podium. Boy, it has been a day, Tim, of people just finding themselves in that lucky spot, and they're able to hang on and probably finish in a place that they didn't expect to when the race started.
It's not over yet. There's over 7.5 minutes left in this race, and there's a lot of racing to be done.
And Jeremiah Mayo's going nowhere.
No, if anything, he's pulling up closer to him.
As they come off a 3 and 4, Mayo goes down into the spray, but there's the 13 of Schubert. He's right on Mayo's tail. So we got a 3-boat battle for the final spot on the podium. But then we look back, the 17 of Anderson and the 52 of Rinker. They're slugging it out for the winner, for the lead here in the battle on the Colorado in Formula One as they go down the back straightaway. Can the 17 of Dylan Anderson hang on? Boy, the Rinker.
I can't watch all this at once.
It's hard. There's so many battles all over the course. You really got to pick and choose where we're going to focus our time. There's the 13 of Schubert. We're going to go overhead with him as he comes down the front straightaway. Just a handful of boat lengths behind the 8 of Mayo. And there's the 29 of Jensen. Jensen going tight. 13 of Schubert's got to get into the wash as they are doing battle.
And they're coming up on Travis Yates, which is throwing a wrench in it for Jensen. Has to slow down a little bit in the dog leg. Let's see what happens down here.
They go down into the turn. Jensen and Mayo are side by side.
Okay.
That's really all going to depend on what the 99 as Yates does.
Yeah, but he's holding his lane. He's not doing anything wrong. Jensen has a little bit of acceleration on Jeremiah. Jeremiah's able to hold it on in the corners.
Oh, look at that. Mayo squeezes him down to the pin. What a great move by the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo. He squeezed Jensen. Jensen had to get off the throttle to turn off the pin, and the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo moves his way up into third.
But he has to go outside of Travis Yates, and that's going to allow Jensen to go back up the inside again.
Oh no, Jensen has to cross back over. Now he's got to watch out because the 13 of Schubert's right on his hip. Now let me go back to the 13 of Schubert's all over him. And they're running now, battling for fourth as Schubert is just pushing it to the limit, coming down the backstretch, 110 miles an hour plus as they go down into turn number 3.
Grant, hey, Jared left him a lane. Grant took it.
He's still leaving him a lane.
By. Oh, he gets out of shape. Grant is all over it right now, pushing it to the limit.
And he gets by the 29 of Jensen. It's got to be frustrating for a driver who's not had to deal with that a whole lot this year, but having to deal with it here this weekend after a barrel roll in Heat 2 and on his third motor of the weekend. It has not been a kind weekend to the pocketbook of the Island Lake Marine Racing Machine.
These are the fastest laps I've seen Travis Yates run all year.
He's really starting to push it. I think Travis might like the rough water a little bit more than maybe he'll even admit, because that boat's really starting to break loose and run well here in the rough water of the Colorado River.
BACs are made for rough water.
There's the 52 of Chris Rinker. We're going to stay with him for a little while now. He's trying to find a way to get by the 17 of Dylan Anderson. He's our leader right now. Let's see what the gap looks like as they both come out of turns 3 and 4. 2.37 seconds. The 52 of Rinker behind the 17 of Dylan Anderson. As they cross the start-finish line, 4 minutes, 23 seconds, plus 2 laps remaining here in this Formula One final to wrap up racing at round 4 of the IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series. Here's the battle on the Colorado downtown Marble Falls, Texas.
Nice turn by Chris Rinker in 1 and 2. Made up a little bit of room there.
He's going to have perfect turns for this final 4 minutes plus 2 laps, Tim, if he's going to want to catch the 17 of Dylan Anderson.
And there's not a lot of traffic between them and the finish of this race.
Right. We'll have to see what happens as they come off of 3 and 4. Now let's see what that gap is at as they cross the start-finish line. I have a feeling it might be a little shorter. The leader, Dylan Anderson, had a 2.37 second. Now it's down to 1.39 seconds. So
Dylan had a good turn in 1 and 2 that time. Chris didn't make up any room there that time.
No, in fact, it looks like Anderson might have extended his lead by a boat length or so. It doesn't take long. I mean, boy, a split second, you can go from a 5-boat length lead to a guy right on top of you, and it all depending on how you can get in and out of the corners.
You cover a lot of real estate at 120 miles an hour.
Yes, you do, as these guys boogie through the dog leg. That, I'm surprised the dog leg is really only coming to play on that pass by the 8 of Mayo and the 13 of Schubert on the 29 of Jensen down the front stretch. I thought it was going to be more impactful. It really seems like coming out of 1 and 2 has been where these teams have been able to make up a ton of ground, and that set them up for making the move down in 3 and 4.
Single pin turn down there, really, even though it's 1 and 2, look, the buoys are almost touching. So that gives you a lot of different options on how to go through that corner.
It really does, and depending on how you choose it, based on where the back markers are at, what the wind and water conditions are like, is all going to depend on how well you get out of that corner. Now Rinker's got to go down to the inside. Now he's crossing over the wake again. That's not what you want for the 52 of Chris Rinker. You do not want to get through the backwash of that big APX 4-stroke on the back of the 17 of Dylan Anderson.
Well, he's trying to take the sharpness of the corner out of it. So you can see him there. He goes past the turn in 3 and 4 to make that one turn.
And also by going so wide, he's taking most of the dog leg out, so he doesn't have to set the boat halfway through the front stretch, trying to get him a little bit better straight speed so he can go into the corners with that gap closed a little bit and try to make a move.
Anderson has to park it in 1 and 2 that time. Rinker carried some momentum. They're coming up on Travis Yates, and Yates is running good enough where they're not going to just blow by him.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing when we've seen in other races where those top 3 or 4 boats will pull away and they'll eat through the back 5, 6, 7 boats in the field. Not here today on the rough and tumble waters of the Colorado River. They barely hanging on to the lead lap are most of our drivers, outside of a couple of them like the 98 of Benton and the 9098s. There's the 29 of Jensen. He's just hanging out there in 5th. Really, I think that motor just doesn't have the punch and the get up and go like his top 2 motors did. And so sometimes you just got to accept what's in front of you with 1 minute plus 2 laps left. Hey, he's taking a top 5. It could have been a lot worse because he could have damaged that boat yesterday and been watching from the shore today. So I think he's going to be happy with a top 5 finish if he can hang on here these final few laps.
And I'm sure they have a little bit more of a conservative setup on the engine package and the engine tuning. So Dylan Anderson still looking good out front. Chris Rinker can make small headways, but just really can't get into a position to make a bid for the #1 spot.
But hey, it's a long series.
Here we go.
A long season here in 2026. We see the green flag is out right now. But I suspect here in not too long, we're going to see that green flag go down. White flag is out for the 17 of Dylan Anderson. White flag is out. Final lap for the man from Nashville, Tennessee, running for Anderson Marine. Can he?
Oh, he's way outside this. Chris went up the inside, which was the right move. I just think it's
too little, too late.
Yeah, it's just not going to get him close enough.
As our leader goes down the back straightaway, it was a fantastic battle between them all day. The 17 of Anderson goes down into turn number 3, off 3, slides it out of turn number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner of the Battle of the Colorado here in 2026, running for Anderson Marine, Elite Direct Finance, Low Car Performance, number 17, Dylan Anderson.
Chris Rinker comes in second. Didn't they get first and second last year?
I believe they did. And then Rinker went to Alton the next round and got his first win. Jeremiah Mayo rounding out the podium. What a great run for the number 8, because he did not look good in Saturday's fast lap qualifying yesterday. But where there's a will, there's a way. He comes in third. Fourth is the 29 of, fourth is the 13 of Grant Schubert. Fifth, the 29 of Jared Jensen, and then in 6th, the 22 of Kyle Maskell.
Johnny Fleming having a good race.
Hey, you know what? Johnny's just happy to finish. It's been a rough 2026. He's had to pull off the course numerous times, whether it was electrical, mechanical, or he has had some structural issues after getting together with a couple of boats early in the season. But a good run for this 9 of Johnny Fleming, putting it back on the trailer in one piece.
Yeah, they end the weekend on a positive note, and guess what? That is gonna make those guys excited and even work harder for the next round in Alton in July.
Absolutely. Well, and you got to remember, right? Dustin Terry, our 2-time defending series champion, who wasn't able to make it here because his APX motor was destroyed 2 weeks ago in Shreveport, Louisiana. He lost an entire cylinder. He's in the process of having to completely rebuild that motor. But this is only the 4th race in that 4-stroke package for the 9 of Johnny Fleming. So he's got to take everything with a grain of salt, because it took Dustin Terry 2 years to be competitive in that 4-stroke before he was fighting for a championship. So you can't win it right away, but good to see those steady improvements from the 9 of Fleming.
They're making progress.
And boy, and this guy right here, he's got a boat built for the 4-stroke.
You know, that thing's got a super wide tunnel, which means it packs more air underneath it. So it was really a handful going into the wind today.
I have a feeling there's a ton of weight in the nose of that boat. But on the start here, the 24 of Spencer Love, he got a good start, but not as good a start as the 29 of Jared Jensen, but good enough to get out in front early. And boy, we thought
he was rolling. It's been a while since I seen the number 24 have an engine problem.
Yeah, it really has. And he was way out in front, I mean, really in control. Better part of 3/4 of this race, at least that past the halfway point. And, you know, he wasn't even pushing it really hard. He was really just trying to find a good race. And unfortunately, the motor went away on him. Sometimes no matter what you do everything right, and the motor just says, hey, guy, sorry, it's time for me to go bye-bye. And he had to pull off the race course on the back straightaway. Had to have been frustrating for the 24, Spencer Love.
Feel bad for the Firefly Aerospace entry, but you know what? He was out front. He was doing everything he was supposed to do. He just, the motor laid down on him. So it'll be interesting. I'm sure we'll see him later on so we can see what's going on. But hey, fans, don't go anywhere. We're going to have a driver's autograph session right up here on the terrace soon as we can get everybody over here, and then we'll do the awards.
Yeah, the 29 of Jared Jensen, he started off early, but it looks like that third motor on the weekend, it's been a rough, expensive weekend for them. He came out and finished in the top 5. The 13 of Grant Schubert, he did a pretty good job and was able to get it back into the top 5. 98 Aiden Ben, he had troubles all weekend. Jeremiah Mayo finally figured it out. But boy, once Dylan Anderson got out in front and the 24 Spencer Love had to pull off the course, the 17 of Dylan Anderson just kind of had it in cruise control, Tim.
Anderson Marine Boat looked fantastic. He was able to lay it over going into the wind, keep it safe, not have to do anything drastic. And then on contrast, the number 52 of Chris Rinker is going inside, outside, pushing it in the corners, going into the corners harder, taking chances because he's trying to do everything to get into that number 1 slot.
But Anderson just really gave him no room, no mistakes, no errors. That was a fantastic battle right there. There's the pass from A to Jeremiah Mayo. He just pinched the Jensen down to the pin, forced him to have to back off to set it tight off of turn number 4, and that's what got him up on the podium. Also a great run there by the 34 of Jeff Reno. And that Strippers Things made of strip-sponsored entry.
Keeps
solid
collecting
run.
Points.
Yes, he does.
Collecting points.
And then Jensen finishing top 5, you know, probably not as happy as he was the last couple of rounds with some really solid finishes, but they're going to take it back to Colorado in one piece. And there it was, the checkered flag for the 17 of Dylan Anderson with that bright yellow boat right behind him all race long. But you know what? It's amazing. We look back at like 2020, was it 2021? When was the first time we went to the Lake of the Ozarks?
20.
Been a handful of years. In that race, you remember Dylan Anderson's out front, Terry Rinker's charging him. He barrel rolls in the corner, just feeling that pressure from the 10 of Terry Rinker. That is not the Dylan Anderson that we see now. All right, we're going to send it down to our winners right now from the Formula 1 class. What an absolute fantastic run it was for all three as Pam's down at the start dock with all three of them here from Formula 1. Pam.
Dylan Anderson, our number 1 winner out here for the Formula 1 this weekend out here at Marble Falls. And, man, that was a tough race just now.
Yeah, I mean, those guys definitely don't hand it to anybody. They'll make you work for every single position, and really happy to come up from 4th to 1st. Unfortunately, looked like Spencer broke. That's part of it in this sport. I mean, you just don't always have your stuff stay together the whole time. I have no doubt he'd have stayed that thing out front. He's a pretty good driver, and he's got on a diet in the last couple of years, and he's back up in contention. He's making a hard run at that championship. So hopefully this tightens up the points championship a little bit. Really got to thank my sponsors on this one. Anderson Marine, obviously, for getting us here. Elite Direct Finance for making us afford to be able to get us here. Actually, this weekend, Mission Golf Carts hooked us up. Called on Monday. She said, we don't have any golf carts. Called me back 10 minutes later, unsolicited, said, I found you a golf cart. And they were super great to work with. Gave us golf carts for all of us. I mean, we paid them for it, but still, we appreciate them. C2 Machine, Hoffman Formula 1, XS Power Batteries, and Low Car Performance. Couldn't do it without those guys.
Well, and I want to bring back up here, you just mentioned the points for the championship, and you are not too far out of the points running right now. So right now you won a heat this weekend. Now you're number 1 for the weekend. That definitely has to pay off on the points.
Yeah, I'm not a mathematician, so I'll wait till they do the math for me, and I'll look at it and hopefully be really happy, or maybe just be happy that we're right up on Spencer now.
Awesome. Well, congratulations once again. And here we have it, Mr. Anderson right here, our number 1 for the weekend. We're going to move right on over here to Chris Rinker. Chris Rinker, you are in this number 2 position. The heat race earlier on was not your friend, but here you are in the number 2 position for the weekend.
Yeah, that last heat race, we lost power steering, and I don't know, it's like wrestling a gorilla in there. So, I mean, I made at least good 8 laps like that and started falling back, but luckily, you know, we held our position pretty well. So we're pretty excited about this. I mean, we've had a rough weekend all weekend. I don't think you could have any more challenges. But my team rose to the challenge, and we got it done.
I mean, you definitely have a great team. I see you guys coming over to the loading dock and unloading dock, and you guys, you know, team with always smiles on your face. You're praying before you get into your boat to come out here and do your race. So it really is a great team behind the driver that really gets you out here.
You know, family doesn't always make a great team, but my family does. So, and every one of these team members and all these guys are good friends and family. They get it done when it's time to get it done, and that's hard to find. So we'll take it, and we're glad to be in second. Dylan ran a great race. I want to say thank you to Mastercraft, Sylvan, McLean Trailers, Rinker's Boat World, my team. I love you. Thanks for letting me play while you guys are making me money. I love it.
Awesome. Well, congratulations once again, Chris Rinker, on the second place for the weekend.
Thank you, ma'am. Sorry about the sweat.
That's all good. All right, we're moving right on over here to Mr. Jeremiah Mayo, number 8. You're in this number 3 position for the weekend. How does it feel?
It feels great. I mean, we started off qualifying for about as bad as you could, and then kind of worked our way up through the heats, 2 6th, and then the third heat we actually got better and came into, I think it was 4th. So I figured we got to stick with our setup and just try and, I mean, whenever you got a little bit of speed, hang on their hip, and if they make a mistake, then it's time to jump on that. So
Yeah.
That's what we did.
Exactly. You got to capitalize on the other people's driving, and you just keep it consistent and smooth. And I mean, it definitely, like you just said, it paid off for the weekend.
Absolutely, you know, and it's a lot of lap traffic comes into play too. Just you got to look ahead more than you're looking at yourself. So it worked out for us, and we made a pretty good move that helped us get onto the podium.
Okay, I'm going to bring it up one more time. I've talked to other drivers when we're over at the unloading dock, but this weekend, I mean, going through all of the lap traffic like you're talking about, and today we have the wind. So how did that play into your racing today?
I mean, it always plays a little bit of factor in there just because they're racing too. So if they're racing somebody, they're not just going to jump out of your way and, you know, just give you all the space ever. So you got to navigate, look 2 boats ahead, not just the guy you're racing, kind of figure out what that guy's line is doing too. And then whenever you figure that out, kind of know where you're going to stay and the other guy's going to make the other move.
Well, congratulations on your number 3 position out here this weekend in Marble Falls, and hopefully we see you back up here on the box.
Yeah, I hope to be up here more than just once every 2 races. So.
All right, well, let's talk about this. Who gets you out here?
This guy right here, Michael, he gets about, I think we bring 12 boats to a race, and he gets every single one of them out here running. So he has a big task. None of us have anything compared to what he does.
Awesome. Well, it does take an army sometimes, and sometimes a small army, but congratulations on your number 3 position for the weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, and there we have it. Jeremiah Mayo, number 3 position for the Formula Ones for the weekend, and let's go ahead and take it back to you guys.
Hey, thanks, Pam. What a fantastic run for all 3 drivers and a great weekend of racing. Boy, Mother Nature loves us here in Marble Falls. What a beautiful weekend. 17 of Dylan Anderson, 1.62 second win over the 52 of Chris Rinker. Tim, great run for the 17 of Anderson.
Well, it was a great race. So what I like about the number 8, though, he started the weekend off, didn't qualify well, worked every heat, worked every single session, and finally got his way onto the podium.
Yeah, he did. The stick-to-itiveness that he had, a lot of guys will go in and try to change 7, 8, 9 different things. They just stuck with it all the way to a podium finish. His teammate, the 13 at Grant Schubert, great run there on the final. He was getting close to the 8 of Mayo. He finishes in 4th, and not too shabby. The 29 of Jared Jensen hangs on to a top 5 finish.
He salvages a weekend.
Absolutely. And
with
finally, we see 22 of Kyle Maskell, even though he had some damage from a wreck, which would have probably affected his final position. A really good, solid 6th place finish for Kyle Maskell, really showcasing what type of driver he is, which is a really solid driver out of Chilliwack, British Columbia.
Did a great job. Then you got Johnny Fleming in there. I'm glad those guys had a good result.
Jeff Reno,
Mr. Consistency.
And you hate to see it if you're the point series leader,
Yeah.
but last place finish here in the Formula One class at the Marble Falls, the 24 of Spencer Love. So he might be able to hang on to the series lead. He might not. We're just going to have to wait and find out. But it's a hard way when you're the driver and your motor goes away because you don't really have a whole lot to do with it. It wasn't a driving mistake, but those things happen in racing. Is this his worst weekend on the season? If it is, and he can leave here in the points hunt, I think he'll take it in the long run.
You know, if I'm Spencer, I take away from this weekend, look, we were out front when we broke. We're still going to be right in the thick of the points race. So go back, do your homework, come back stronger.
Oh, he definitely will. The Clover team does their homework. They put the work in, and that's why they found themselves out in front coming here into round number 4. But what a fantastic weekend it was, Tim. I really appreciate the time that I get to spend with you every race weekend here on the IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series. Well, this is going to wrap things up here for Marble Falls, and we're going to be on to Alton, Illinois for round 5. But before everybody gets heading out here, don't forget we've got an autograph session with all of our drivers from all 4 classes right outside the pavilion, right here next to the award ceremony before we give away some hard-fought trophies. Going to be a great autograph session. Get your T-shirt, your official weekend race series Battle on the Colorado shirt. We've got fan guides, a ton of IHRA merch, and you can leave the Battle on the Colorado here in Marble Falls with some pretty cool autograph swag from the IHRA.
Fan guides are free, so bring those by, and those guys will sign them.
Absolutely. All right, well, on behalf of the IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series, Tim Siebold, I am Thomas Yarbrough. We bring you all the live play-by-play action every race weekend on the 2026 calendar. That puts a bow on Marble Falls in round 4. Coming up next, we're on the mighty Mississippi, just outside of St. Louis in Alton, Illinois for round 5 on the 2026 IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series. Thank you so much. Good night. God bless, and we'll see you in Alton.